Hello, YouTube. I am Shaggy. I am Phil Alitea, and I am working on this near platinum because A, I've wanted to for a very long time, and B, I have some things to say about it. Not about the platinum process. I have some things to say about the game. I have some things to say about the game, and I have some things to say about story broadly, and I have a lot to say about our critical engagement with things broadly. And so I'm going to have to pivot my content to a more short form friendly format because you just aren't hanging out in the lives anymore. You aren't spending time around me, so you're just not hearing the things I'm saying anymore. And so we find a way to communicate. Okay. I should have taken the ferry. Are you a ferry guy? No. Hmm. Do you want to help me out, Rachie? Um, I need to know which quests have weapons that I don't own yet. Shouldn't have been cheating on your wife. Because the weapons I missed are supposed to be here, and I just bought the weapons that guy's got. But I don't have all of the weapons yet. So I'm gonna go back to town, and then I gotta figure out where to get a crystal if that guy has a weapon quest. Gross.
So you're looking for the ones you didn't buy?
No, well, no, I'm looking for the quest
Okay,
reward.
so Ancient Overlord, you get it from the Lawyer Service mission. That's a story mission. I don't know if you already have that one.
Yes.
The Beast Bane you got.
Beastbane, correct?
Blade of Treachery.
Yep.
Earth Worm Claw.
Yep. Worm.
Faith.
Faith is
Yeah,
just the word faith.
just the word faith.
Don't think I have that one.
Okay, this one is an optional reward and can be bought. Can be obtained during part one. Can be bought during part two at the Eerie Weapon Shop for 18,000 G's.
Airy weapon shop. I went
Yes,
to the
sir.
wrong weapon shop. Let me go to the airy weapon shop and then we'll reconvene on that conversation.
Yes, sir. Why is it so cold here?
Why is it so cold in here, Rochelle?
I don't know. Why are you trying to freeze me out of my house?
Because you have kidney hurts.
My head kidney
Because
hurt?
you have kidney
I
hurts.
do have kidney hurt.
Your head kidney? Do you think that's what I thought? You thought that's what I said?
My head kidney?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, your head kidney bean?
I didn't know I had a head on my kidney. But it would make sense why it hurts.
You got a kidney bean in your head.
There's that smile. There's that smile.
I should have greeted Mr. S already, and I didn't. God damn, girl.
They don't want you to hear me pee. Yeah, a little screamer.
Got a heavy stream, girl. I think that's cool as hell. You've heard that meme, right?
No.
You got a heavy stream, dude. She says something like, "Your piss sounds like a pot of frying chicken." I think that's cool as hell.
That was the faucet. That wasn't.
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
Don't let the people know.
This girl has a fucking garden hose for a urethra.
Holiday. Alright, be serious.
No, I will not.
Can you hand me your head?
I can.
If you want me to pet them for you.
I can. Will I? Maybe. Yeah. I'm lazy. What?
Have the other one too?
No?
For your ashtray?
Oh, I see. I thought you had the ashtray. My bad.
Hello, stupid Dave.
Ho!
Welcome to the stream.
I should be playing. I should be, but I hit my wall with that game. It's going to take me a day or two.
It's okay. You're human, you know. Come to find out.
Come to find out. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
Not me. All right, we're going to the Aerie. The Aerie is down at the bottom. Yeah, it is. Bottom left corner there.
How
South
many
west.
towns is there? Or
5.
little villages?
There's the Aerie, the Junkyard Boys, who are only one boy now, the Desert People, the Forest People, Our Village, and Seaport. 5?
Now, do each one of these, they each have a weapon person?
Yes, sort of. The boys give you a weapon, and then they're the weapon upgrade boys. And then yes, all the other places. No, the forest doesn't have a vendor. The forest is deeply weird. It is. Every time I walk in there, it becomes a text adventure. It's deeply weird, Rachel.
I believe you.
Whatever, bro.
I believe you.
You watch it. Watch these Let's Plays, man. It's deeply creepy. Did I read? I read Kane and her grandmother out loud, right?
You did.
That was awesome.
Do you want me to cut that?
No. No. No, I don't want to spoil this game in short form. I very much want to retain the you play it. This is an awesome gaming experience, and movies and game stories are rewatchable.
This would make such a great movie.
This would make an excellent, excellent movie. It would.
Hollywood, come on now.
Yeah, it's paced just like a movie. You would have to cut very little. That's why I say it has the gravitas and the dignity of a novel. I
Yeah.
keep saying that.
Yes.
Like, Rachel will, she keeps saying that her favorite novel, the Hail Mary Project, it translates to a film, even though the film is a lesser piece of art, it's still a good film. This would not have to cut much
Yeah.
in order to make a good movie. I mean, it would make an excellent film because it's already paced like a novel or like a manga, like an anime. It's just very good.
It was very good.
They've done an excellent job.
Makes me want to play it on my own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I am very much trying to cultivate that. I want to play this. I want to talk about this. I want to hang out with you guys while I do it. But I very much want to cultivate you guys buying it for yourselves and experiencing it for yourselves. We already asked with Final Fantasy IX, and nobody really remembers it, but and I will now in short form. I said I was preparing to make the argument, but I can absolutely we can work on making a video. Can video games be Teonustos? Because I believe that they can. I believe that these video games, their narratives, actually can reach into your life and teach you how to be. Not only can, but do. You very often, nobody's watching this. Stop looking at the thing for the analytics, but you very often find people who base their whole worldviews around music or video games or movies or just art forms in general. It's very normal human behavior. I'm just always advocating for broader literacy, broader media engagement. The top 10 stuff is good for water cooler conversation, but y'all don't like my contributions to water cooler conversation either, which is hurtful. Hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. We move on.
So are you gonna hit all the weapon shops first, and then we're gonna reconvene?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I got the area, which means that I got the only quest that I missed. The only quest weapon I missed. But I'm running out of saleables, which means I'm gonna have to go grind a little bit. But if I can get all the weapons, beat the story, then I'm good. I'm straight up good. There are a couple of quests. Hey boys, a couple of quests. Hey. I gotta do the area weapons vendor. The one that you said, Faith. That was the only one that I had missed. It's weak as shit. Oh wait, no, this one's more better. Phoenix Spear. Ooh, that looks cool. It's better. Oh, that looks cool, Richie.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Anyway.
we have tried it kind of.
Yeah, it looks like a trident because it is. That is the definition of a trident, my love. It has 3 blades.
It does.
It doesn't really, but we're gonna. Hey, you fucker!
Whoa!
It's just
Take
got.
it easy.
It's just got a bird's wings reaching out to the spear. But you know what? You hit somebody with those, I bet they'd hurt. I don't care at all. I do care. It hurts my feelings, and I do care. But we just move on. What you? Oh, okay. What's after Faith? And let me open this menu, and I'll tell you. I know I still got 2 more weapons windows to go to.
Okay. So let's start with your one-handed.
Yep.
One-handed. So we're down to Faith, Fool's Embrace.
Fool. Nope.
Fool's Embrace. Complete the 3rd nightmare from Dungeon 1 in a word or recycle vessel. It's a reward.
What? 3rd nightmare, Dungeon 1.
Complete the 3rd nightmare from Dungeon 1.
Does that have a link?
It does.
Will you click it?
Yes.
Tell me whereabouts that is. 3rd nightmare. I don't know what that means. Is that not in Act 1 or 2? You don't have any more. Yep. Supply and demand, etc.
So there are 3 dungeons, each composed of a series of challenges called nightmares. As you proceed through the nightmare, you will receive recovery items that you can use to heal. You have access to all your weapons and abilities, so take the most use of everything you got.
I don't know where that is.
Let me see.
How do you access that?
Nothing. There's like 3 doors. Let me look.
How did I miss that? Maybe it's just not available yet. Why did I come here? Weapon shop. I have 60 something, 69 I believe, percent of the weapons. I have the music of this game stuck in my head now permanently. There we go.
Okay, so you unlock a departed mother's diary and access the world of recycled vessel. After beating the game for the first time, start your playthrough for ending B. Go to the bottom floor of your house and read the book in the center. This allows you to play the DLC for the original version of Nier Replicant, the world recycled vessel. So you gotta go to the basement of your own house.
Okay. And that'll take me to the nightmares that let me unlock that weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Weird that the DLC affects the. That's cool, actually, that the DLC affects your ability to get the end. We're still playing Nier, Hunter. I'm going for a platinum. My house. I know where that is. You said my house? Open, and there's a book on the first floor?
Go to the bottom floor of your house and read the book in the center. This allows you to
that is.
play the DLC.
That wasn't there last time I came here. I found it. Thank you.
Okay.
Book. Yes. Oh. I have not heard you talk more about your mother either. Oh, she got the black scroll. We still don't know what that is. Oh shit. Can you hear this?
No. I cannot.
Yes, Mom lost her mind toward the end. Here, look. Yeah, we're gonna go into his mama's diaries. System data saved. Nuh-uh. I can hear you.
Yeah. So you're gonna have 3 doors.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
This is what we used to look like. This is what.
Oh wow.
This is what Neo looks like in Gestalt. I do too. That's what he looks like.
He's so beefy.
He's huge.
He's all tatted up.
Thick and tatted.
And he's wearing a Zorro mask.
And he's got this thing over his eyes. So yeah. You can't see his full face.
Yeah.
This is what he looks like in Gestalt, in the original. Isn't that cool?
That is awesome.
Now, Replicant, I have no problem with it. Obviously, they left him looking like he looked in Gestalt for a reason. Ooh, and the music is doing a whole thing. This is the world of the recycled vessel. Created to something. Oh, where am I going? I see. Y'all are dead now. Too weak to stop me.
Kill.
I am old Nia. Yeah, this version of Nia is
A little slower.
yeah.
He's a little older, so
He's a little older. He moves a little slower, but no, he looks cool. I think he looks great.
He looks awesome.
Boom. Shoom.
Very masculine. The other
Very
here is very
masculine.
feminine. Nothing wrong
Very
with that.
nothing wrong with it,
Nothing at all.
but very androgynous, I would say. Very genderless. But that might have been the goal. I think this one looked cooler, but they changed his look for a reason. That's not what we're here to talk about. Pretty much ever.
So these are three. Do you want me to read this to you or no? Okay.
I just didn't know how to access that sword, so
Okay.
we're gonna do this. Get the sword. Hopefully, I don't have to level them all up. Hopefully, I just have to have access to them. We are here for the sword, or for the story, not to lose a whole chunk of our lives.
So when you get to the third nightmare is when you will be rewarded the Fool's Embrace.
Heard.
Okay.
Fool's Embrace.
But there's actually 4 or 5 nightmares.
5 nightmares total. Heard. I will want to do all of them. What?
You love dungeons.
I love dungeons,
This is it.
and I want to learn about Nier and his mama. That would make me happy. Hello.
This guy, he has drums in his hands.
He does. He's dead now.
They're like congos.
They're
Congas.
congas. Yeah. Conga ding ding the bong dong ding dongs. Yeah.
Yeah, now you'll take some medical herbs.
I agree. Medical herbs indeed. Herbs with an
Oh,
fuck, Rachel.
I'm sorry.
The Black Scroll, A Lost Destiny, a white book,
Sorry.
a false truth.
Don't yell at me like that.
I didn't yell at you, I didn't think. I didn't think I yelled at you.
No, you didn't. I didn't even have to get up. Come to find out.
Son of a bitch.
Mm.
She spins me right round, baby, right round. She launches herself ass first at the couch every time she sits down.
I'm a big girl.
And
Let it be.
It screeches across the floor 6 to 8 inches every time.
Let it lie.
She jumps.
Let it
It's
lie.
the launch, not the big girl of it all.
It is the launch. You do it too. You just don't know that you do it.
I don't think I do, darling. I
Well,
know
you
that
do.
I sit down gently.
No, you.
I launch.
You-
Do I leap
you-
into the air?
You leap. Yeah, you catch.
I
the
fly in dad bomb onto the bed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, onto the couch.
Yep.
Man, these guys ain't got shit on me, Rachel.
You do it on the bed too.
I do.
You jump on the bed like
Face first.
yeah,
At a run.
at a run, at a brisk.
Boosh like
at a
fucking
brisk run.
Superman. Exiting the womb.
I can't face you anymore. I'm sorry. I gotta face forward.
The real reason I got to put my face on the screen now.
Yes.
She won't know what I look like.
Right.
She's turning to her right, or wait a minute, no, to her left way too often.
Too often.
She's turning
That's
stage
that's the other right.
stage right. Yeah, I know my differences. I know the difference in left and right. I just don't always say it.
Stage right.
Stage right. I'm a guy with a dang spear, and I stab you in your ear, and it comes out the other side. You guys ain't got nothing on me. 1 hits. I should probably heal. Ding dong dong bong ding bong ding. Smacking you
I'm so
with
stupid.
nothing. I don't disagree, but what about this time?
I put on my headphones so I could hear the game, but you're not even streaming the game.
Mm-mm.
I just hear you twice.
Mm. That's why I asked, oh, you're not wearing the headphones in the PlayStation. Can you hear this? And she goes, nah. Like, she didn't want to. I was
So
like,
I went to get my earbuds thinking it was somehow
no.
magically.
Nope. Because I'm not streaming it on the PlayStation. I'm
Yeah,
streaming
it clicked.
It
okay?
clicked. She's smart. Look,
Takes
if
a minute.
if it takes her a minute to figure out and she's looking at it, I can understand why you dickbags can't figure it out. She's sitting in the room and it's happening. She goes, he seems to be playing a video game. Yeah, darling.
Oh my god.
That's where I said I need to just start a second channel that's that and this channel that's this. And she goes, I don't know about that.
I did not say that.
She goes, that seems like a lot. They're real dumb. They're not going to get it.
I mean, you can't watch two streams at once.
You
and if you
can.
want to see your face, then you gotta pick. Do I want to watch the gameplay and hear his voice, or do I want to hear
Some people
hear
did
his
that.
face? You know.
Some people did that. When it was working to send it to Patreon, people were going to the Patreon instead.
Yes.
Oh shit! It just wasn't sustainable because the games weren't generating enough interest, and the vertical stream wasn't keeping traffic. It just wasn't. Y'all are too damn ADD, or I'm just not interested enough. Is that my fault? Maybe not. I have demonstrated that I can be interesting for many hours in a row.
Do you know if this laptop has more juice than churn?
It's about the same. The black sickness stains the future. They journey to return to soulless vessels. I know what that means now. I told you we're fucking robots, Rachel. I told you somehow we're robots that live human life cycles and therefore don't know they're robots. Spoiler alert, but the shades are human beings whose bodies, I guess, broke apart with the Black Scrawl. I don't know. They seem to be what happened when human beings die and they have a strong emotional connection to being alive. I don't know. Because for a second, I was pretty sure that Kaine's grandma was that giant thing.
Yeah.
But it also smashed her body, so I don't know that it was. But maybe it was. Maybe we're going to learn that the shades have a generalized antipathy to the replicants, right? To the things that we've been taught are human, but we now know aren't. The soulless, maybe they have a general antipathy to like their soulless shells, and so maybe what makes Kaine different is that she has her soul. But that can't be right. I think it might be though, actually. But
yeah, but she's sharing her soul with.
She's sharing her body.
Her body, yeah.
She's sharing her body with the dude, Tyran. Son of a bitch.
So what makes a human heart turn dark?
Time.
Well, I mean, it's like, envy or hatred. Maybe the
Hello,
shadows,
Savage Fox.
maybe the shadows become, or the shades become shades because they have hatred in their hearts.
Yeah, they harbor a negative. They harbor a negative emotion. Son of a bitch. They harbor a negative emotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or any strong emotion. And that strong emotion can be corrupted by the dying process. But they seem to have a general antipathy for the replicants, and that could be because the replicants get human-looking bodies, and the shades can't even seem to articulate. What the hell? Do I need to just...
Nice.
Agreed, thank you.
Very nice. That was a close call.
Yes, it was. I see it.
Wow.
I have very powerful weapons. Well,
that is a cool combo.
Yes, it's a very powerful weapon. It's very cool.
Very cool. Ooh, you got
Kabuki
your
outfit. Yeah.
Huh.
What do you think that is?
So
I mean, I know what a Kabuki outfit is, but who do you think it's for?
it says the Kabuki outfit you get when you do the final nightmare.
I did. I just went ahead and did all 5 of them.
Oh, okay. That was quick. So you already got your Fools and Braids?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So quick I missed it. Cool.
Yeah.
You're good at things.
There are 3 doors?
There are 3 doors.
And I want to play all of them? Now we're good.
Door 1 is the nightmares. Door 2
is pending.
Oh yeah, no, you actually if you go to door two, you get the Fool's Lament.
We get another weapons.
Yep.
Cool.
Door three, you will get the Fool's Accord. So yeah, you want to do all three doors, I guess.
He feels like he wakes up from a dream. I didn't know that. The original was a Japanese dude, teenage looking dude, and for the Western release, they did the big bulky guy, and I do like the big bulky guy better.
Me too.
Black and white, 13 packs. The vessel's forms waver. I no longer know what this is. What this is about. I never know what this means. Definitely DLC content. Oh my god, the hiccups. Damn it! Son of a bitch. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Work with me here. Come on. Oh boy. Titanium alloy I did not expect to pick up here. Thank you, Simplified.
Kick ass.
You like that?
Fuck yeah, some Matrix shit right there. Think we played this before.
Yeah. We have Grimoire Vice. We have to defend ourselves from these motherfuckers who are gonna die now. Oh, fuck you. And over and dead now. Yeah. Bring it on. Let me out. Medicinal. Yep, that would be the case. Boom, you're dead now. Boom, and you, and you, and titanium alloy is good for me. I can sell it. I may not need it anymore. I may not be doing that quest. Boom, baby. Let me out of here. Let me out. Yeah. Now, how do I know when I've finished?
I don't know.
There will be no enemies when I go through these doors.
Yes.
That's how I know. It will go on to the next nightmare. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck ouch. Okay, come on. Work with me here in the air. Damn it. Fuck you. Yeah. Feeling good about that. Well, let's go. I think this is the way. Fagoosh, this looks like a boss room. Bring it on, boss man. Oh, of course we have.
Huh.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
There's more than one way around a problem. Sometimes you just got to go over it. Whoosh. Like that. Boom, baby. Ow. You stop that. I did not give you permission to do damage to me. Which way? Fuck you. Ow. Oh no, I died. I'll have to do that whole thing over again. Oh, that hurts. Hey, Cindy. What up? We got to do all three of them.
All three of them?
Yeah. But not all in one run. You got to do each of them in one run. Boom, boom. You seem overdrawn. Are you all right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Is your kidney hurting any less?
It's hurting a lot less.
But still hurting.
Very dull.
Oh boy. I'm glad to hear that you're positive, Sandy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Cannot do magic spewing bat. Got it. I'm not allowed to do with leaping rabbit anymore. Heard. How about now? Fuck you. Medicinal herb. Boom boom. Vessels form waver as they cross time and space. Aw. Rachy.
Yeah.
Damn it. Ugh. Come here, you. Up and over. Why? Thank you, Rachie, for the star. Let's go. That's the heels room. Boom. Smash. Also heels. What's your problem? Didn't your mother never teach you no manners?
Do you feel some type of way killing the shades now that you know they're human?
Yes. I don't feel good about it. But they're hostile, Rachel.
That's very cute.
Huh?
That's very cute.
What? Did I feel some kind of way?
Yeah.
You're weird. I don't know how that's anything like a bunny.
What?
Bunnies are cute.
Bunnies are creepy. What are you talking about?
Fair enough, you fucking weirdo. She had to follow up with that. What are you talking about? Easter's terrifying.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Chickens and bunnies getting it on? Eggs being hidden everywhere? What is this?
And why are they hiding?
What do they have to hide in their eggs? Candy.
Right, and
Why
are
is there
bunnies
candy?
laying eggs?
Why is there damn candy in these eggs? Because they're bunny eggs, Rachel. Bunnies don't lay eggs, they
Exactly.
hide eggs filled with candy for children because it's a children logic holiday.
Oh.
For some reason, we took the reproductive act out of that holiday.
You know what's funny though?
I do not know what's funny.
Who was it? Hold on.
I don't know. Neither do you. Now that we've got to it.
So Kyle from South Park?
Yes, ma'am. The
is
Jew, right?
The Jew. Is it Kyle or is it Stan?
I thought it was Kyle's a Jew.
Yeah, Kyle is the Jew for sure. But
Okay.
you know, they ask the same question, like, what is up with Easter? Because the heck.
What the heck?
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
And there's a whole episode about the Easter Bunny on South Park.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
There's a theory that Easter is actually a Christianization of the day, Wester, Oestre, Westra. I have no opinion.
Oh.
That sounds dumb to me, but whatever.
Well, South Park, it's the rabbit. You wanna guess what the rabbit was called?
The rabbit in South Park?
Mm-hmm.
Was it called Stan?
No, it's called Peter.
There's
Rabbit.
Peter Cottontail.
Peter Rabbit, yeah. And he's apparently at the table for the Last Supper. We just don't see him.
Ah, Peter Rabbit's at the Last Supper?
Mm-hmm.
Hard.
This whole thing.
Yeah.
It makes less sense than having rabbits.
It's not
lay
supposed
eggs.
to make sense.
It's just for kids.
Well, the Easter Bunny thing is. I don't know why Christians embrace that shit. It's weird to me. Consumer holidays, it's just about buying chocolate, telling a girl that you love her. Wait, no, that's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Look, I get them mixed up. They're both spring holidays that are really just about fucking. Easter used to be the day that people gathered on the spring hills and fucked in group orgies. Think I'm joking. It wasn't about sharing partners. It was just about you and your lady love, or you and your masculine friend getting it on. For purposes of procreation, they timed their babies. Well, you wanted your babies to be kind of timed together so that the pregnancies would be kind of synced up, and so the children would grow up together, all the same damn age.
And look for Easter Bunny eggs together.
Well, yeah, that, and you can celebrate their birthdays all in the same month, and it's just boom, done. All the babies, 1 month. What?
That's clever.
It is, well, I mean, there would only be 30 babies. It's not like they're talking about huge civilization, like huge populations here.
30 babies?
We're talking,
That's a lot of babies.
it's just 30 pregnant women. How many babies do you think are in a maternity ward at any given moment today?
24.
About 24. That's the correct answer. Exactly 24. Look, I got the Fool's Lament.
You got the Fool's Lament?
Yes, I did.
Sweet.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
My language is atrocious. I should put on music for you dickheads. But
it's after 8.
what does that mean? Oh, I remember what that means. That means I can use dirty language.
And inappropriate comments.
So long as I don't talk about sexy times in Mr. S's proximity.
I mean, we're talking about Easter, so that's okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we're not being lewd about women.
No, I didn't know about this. All these things about Easter.
You didn't know this?
No.
I need to have a YouTube channel wherein I talk about random trivia from the past and how everything that you think you know about it is wrong. Yeah, I need a whole YouTube channel. I should have a YouTube channel.
No, you should just have a day. Trivia day on your channel. Where you debunk all the stupid,
Maybe.
4-hour sleeping videos with bullshit.
Yes,
news.
the 4-hour sleeping videos that say bullshit sentences that they can get away with because they let an AI generate their shit.
Right, just to corrupt your girlfriend.
Just to fucking corrupt my girlfriend's mind so that she won't want to do sex times to me anymore. I know how this works.
It all comes back to the sex times.
I know how cult works. You're trying to take my girlfriend.
Oh, so funny.
It is funny.
Okay, so on this one, you're going to get the Fool's Accord.
Fool's Accord. I want the Fool's Accordion.
You got the lament.
How do you think that would play?
You already got the Embrace, too?
Yeah. No, I got the something.
Okay,
I don't know.
You got the full lament.
I got the Lamentation.
Alright, so you still got to get the Accord and the Embrace.
I got to get an accordion and a hug.
Yes. Accordion hug.
That changes everything.
Everything.
That just changes the whole tone of what we're doing.
It's not even a nightmare anymore.
All right, where am I gonna find a fucking Austrian?
Why an Austrian?
Because Austrians play the accordion, you fucking weirdo. I gotta find somebody playing polka, Rachel. Where else are we gonna find an accordion but an Austrian bar? I need a man in lederhosen to give me this accordion.
I've been to Austria. I didn't see a single accordion.
You know, I thought you were gonna say I didn't see a single man in lederhosen, but I bet you did. This shit's racist as fuck. What I'm saying.
It's all good fun.
It's in good fun. I love Austria. I've never been there. I'm not saying anything that's hurtful to them.
Austria was great. I got off
I
the
bet it
train
was.
and I had a hot dog
You had a hot dog?
in Austria.
An Austrian hot dog. I bet it was
Oh
good.
shit! That shit had sauerkraut on it. It was delicious.
I bet you were not really worried about what it was made of either. But you were like, this is 100% pig parts.
I mean, aren't they all?
No, sometimes they're mechanically separated chickens. Sometimes they're unidentified meat parts. Sometimes, if they say eartha bait in them, they have
Arthur bait.
eartha bait.
Oh,
They have earthworm in them.
I mean, that's high in protein.
It is, and that's what it's in there for. Because otherwise, it's just pig guts, and none of that's actually edible. They turn it into a fine pink paste with worms in it.
You like hot dogs?
Not the kind that have eartha bait. I like all beef hot dogs. I
I
don't know.
didn't know that.
Which means you're buying me earthworm hot dogs. You whore. I
So
don't.
you like the kosher hot dogs?
I've never had a kosher hot dog on
They're all
purpose,
beef.
but I like all beef hot dogs. Yeah. I've never had a what is it, Hebrew National hot dog before.
Yeah, those are delicious.
Are they? I
But
bet
they
they
have
are.
a snap to them. You don't
They
like
have a
that.
snap.
Yeah,
They have a skin.
yeah.
I don't mind. Boom, a dick and orb. That hurts down there, and I'm not happy that hurts down there. Why is that hurting? It should not be. Oh my God, that's sagging so much. The puppet priest collects the accursed players and polishes the gems or something. It moves too fast for my slow ass reading.
Would you like some more egg?
Maybe.
Let's see this.
You asked me if I would like it. I don't know if I would like it. Maybe this time I don't like it. Maybe it goes in my mouth and I go, I don't like that.
Well, they have sugar coating on them. Not the point.
What she
Rachel.
meant, no, what she meant to say, the way that I wouldn't have put my hand here is just, well, you've liked them before. That's unlikely to happen this time or any time. It's what she just said to me. It's just the way she said it was pure girl in the world. Huh?
Yeah, candy coated.
Yeah, no, Rachie, yes, they are, my love. I didn't know this was a rail shooter. I think I missed that whole run. Hopefully it goes back around.
Oh, bats.
Yeah, it's a first-person rail shooter for some reason.
Hi, Mama.
I'm not mad about it, and I cannot lock on. Can I shoot this? Oh shit! That blows them up.
Oh my goodness! Look at that.
That did AOE
Go
damage.
Vice.
That does AOE. Yeah, go Vice. That's correct. This is Vice shooting. We're in Vice's perspective.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. This guy over here, he needs to die. Boom, just like so. Oh, hello, friends. Goodbye, friends. I was almost like, why is this town infested with these things? Because this is a challenge, man.
Are you on like a boat or something?
Yeah, we're on the sand thing.
Oh.
See?
Oh, it's a sand river.
Yeah. You didn't notice that when I was talking about how cool it was?
I didn't want to ask, but yeah, I did notice. It just looks so watery.
Yeah, because it's sand.
That's what happens when sand vibrates real fast, yeah?
Sort of, yeah. It looks kind of like that.
Yeah.
You can put sand on speakers, like on a glass plate above music.
And it makes the whole pattern.
And it makes patterns. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Sound waves are amazing.
You know where I learned that?
From the internet.
Project Hail Mary.
I know where you... Really?
Mm-hmm.
It took you that long in your life to run across that? Stop looking at me like that. I'm not going to tell anybody, Juno. Oh my God, everybody on the internet. Juno's getting hugs. She hides her face. No, don't tell them. They're going to know. Now the daggers come out. Jeez. Don't tell anybody. Okay, Juno. I know. She has given me the nastiest look. Like I'm going to come take her away and swing her around by her tail. She's like, he is. He's going to swing me around by my tail. I saw him do it once.
Did he swing you around by your tail?
Not to me. I saw him do it on the internet. It wasn't me. That's cruel. She is a sweet girl.
Such a little bitch.
She is.
Aww.
She wants affection on her terms, and not even then.
Not even then. She
She's
changed her
precious.
mind immediately.
Yep. she started to snuggle into that, and then she realized that I was looking, and she needed to get away.
Yeah, she doesn't want to get caught giving love.
Nope, she doesn't
Or
want anybody.
receiving love.
She doesn't want anybody to know.
I mean, imagine if this was an actual woman. She'd be the worst. Your worst nightmare.
Yep,
She'd be my worst nightmare.
Yep, I have dated women just like her. I've lived with women just
You
like her
stayed?
for years.
I mean, if she wasn't my cat, I would not. No, I would not.
Well, not
entertain that
now.
shit.
No, I thought that was what women, all of them, were like. I just thought that's what human women were like.
Just mean.
Just bitches.
Just bitches.
And I just thought it was you overlook it and you don't tell them. I just thought that's what human life was
You
like.
look at you, don't tell them. Put a paper bag on them and keep it moving.
Well, you just put cotton balls in your ears and you just move on with your life and hope for sex that's not coming. And you know it's not coming, but you just pray to God.
It's a terrible way to live.
I know. I lived it for 20 years. It
I'm so
sucks.
happy you're here.
Huh?
I'm so happy you're here.
Oh, I thought you said, look how floppy your hair. And I was like, what? No, it's definitely pinned down and looks thin. What are you talking about? All right, I think this is the third one. What the difficulty? I want to be at least level 33. Okay, we'll come back when we're at least level 33 then.
You're on level 33?
I'm level 31.
Oh.
How does that make you feel, Rachel?
Makes me feel good.
You have strong opinions about my character's level?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I was about to say.
He has really good hair.
What level am I? Simon. Trying to find his level on like the 4th episode of 7 Days to Die. What level?
I remember that.
Oh my God, let's go!
Remember that. He was looking right at it too.
Yeah, the
like
whole time.
ever. Yeah.
Could I be a level 62? No, you idiot. You're not level 62. Let's go!
Now what?
Good shit is what that is.
What? You okay?
I should watch more of them, but really I need to make a video like 10 things that Neves Gaming taught me about adult life.
That would be a good one. And you could, yeah. Dot.
Yeah, I have all these ideas and then I don't do them because she's such a bitch. They just feel so inauthentic to me. And I don't know.
Why does it feel unauthentic to you? It's true, right?
Yeah, it's the list format. I don't know. I tell myself nobody wants to watch that.
I watch it. I got you by the feet. You are so sharp, Juno. My God. Let me look. Let me look at the feet.
Damn.
See that?
She doesn't look a day over 5. I'll be honest with you, Juno.
Yeah?
You don't look a day over 5.
She's like almost 15. Whoa, girl. Okay, I'm looking back at the weapon list.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I can't do the third one. I was thinking about just going and smashing robots for a while.
Okay.
But what's the next one for sure?
We're still just in the one-handed list.
Yeah. I have. Look, I'll show you. I got 78% of them.
So it's Fool's Embrace, the Iron Pipe, which you got already, Labyrinth Whisper.
This is one hand, so you said Iron Pipe?
Iron Pipe.
I don't have that. If that's a one-handed sword, I don't have that.
Obtain, oh, no, you'll get it. Obtain upon reaching ending B, which you're on right now.
Okay.
The Labyrinth Whisper, that was a reward for
Got it.
the quest. The Lily Leafy Sword.
Got it.
Moonrise.
Got it.
Your Nameless Blade, which was your starting weapon.
Got it.
The Nirvana Dagger.
Got it.
The Phoenix Dagger.
Yes.
in the Rebirth.
I don't have the Phoenix Dagger yet, but I know where it is. And
It's
I do.
in the seafront weapon
Yes,
shop.
and I have Rebirth, yes.
Okay, so those are your one-handed.
Yep.
Do you want to look at the two-handed or no?
Yes.
Okay. Two-handed is X of the Beheadings,
Yep.
the Beast Lord,
Yep.
Fang of Twins,
Yep.
Fool's Lament,
Yes.
the Iron Will,
Yep.
Kusanagi,
Not yet.
starting weapon in part 2. There it is.
Kusanagi. Yep.
Kusanagi, okay. Labyrinth Song,
Not yet. Where's that?
that is a facade quest. Complete disturbing the sleep of the king. No link. Phoenix Sword, I think you had that. And the Vile Axe, I think you had that too.
Okay, so how do we do that quest?
Okay, facade quest complete. Disturbing the sleep of the king.
What do you think these are? You think these are graves? There's not a lot of them.
Ooh. So we go to facade. Okay, hold on. Activation. Speak to the king of facade at the top of his mansion after acquiring the Loyal Cerebus key fragment.
Okay. Okay. So that's what we're gonna. Okay. Just hold on to that thought.
Okay. Am I
Just-
doing good?
You're doing perfect. You couldn't be a better
Sidekick?
sidekick.
Alright.
Could not be a better handler of the strategy guide.
It's like I was made for
It's
this.
like you were made for it.
That was a Labyrinth song, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I put you to work so I didn't have to know.
You're a very fast-paced kind of guy. This is really cool. Now that I'm more and
Like
more
actually looking at it, it's really
Yes.
it's pretty clever means of transportation in town, isn't it?
Yes, because I thought it was actually just murky water.
Nope.
Because I remember back in the day, like probably like 2008, I saw a video of a guy that filled his hot tub with sand and then turned it on, so the whole thing was vibrating, and he sunk right down to the bottom.
I bet he did.
Yeah.
I bet he was really scared too.
It looks so fun.
I bet it was terrifying.
I mean, it was just a hot tub. He could stand right up.
Oh, fair enough.
It was really, waste, whatever.
Sure. Did it work?
Yes, it worked. I don't know if the hot tub ever worked again after that.
Certainly, it wasn't for that.
Years later, you know what he did? He
Hmm.
filled it with Orbeez. I know you know what Orbeez are. Why are you cutting your eyes? It's dumb, isn't it? It's ridiculous. I've never seen an orby in real life, but I wanted to stick my feet in them one day.
You don't have to stare at that. We've got 2 hours before we're gonna get to that.
Why?
Huh?
Did I miss something?
No, I have to do the quest to with the king and the
Oh, gotcha,
the
gotcha.
key piece.
Gotcha.
I said after the king piece, and I said, got it. We're not there yet. That's actually our next quest. So just hold on to your bacon or your bacon.
Hold on to my bacon.
I will put my foot in your ass.
Okay.
It's not supposed to
Hey,
fit.
you're just kind of chilling in that little thing, huh? What is that thing called?
I would call it a sand raft.
A sand grab
Sand raft.
raft. Yes. Yes. I agree.
You agree that I would call it a sand raft?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay. Ah, you're getting married, right? Yeah. This is sad.
This was very sad. Yeah, we love her. You know, Juno might feel some type of way about you, like you say, but
She's right on my pillow.
she's on your pillow again. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
She gives me these looks. She clearly likes me a great deal.
Oh, she loves you.
She has grown very fond of me.
Yes.
She comes out here and she sits next to me and she sits through a lot of my singing.
Does she give you slow blinks? Yeah. That's her move. That's how she gets them. You just crumble at her blink, you know?
Mm-hmm. She's a special cat.
She is a special girl. I just wish she wasn't so mean. I just want her to love me.
No doubt.
I'm done talking about you. You can look away.
You have to sleep, Emil?
It's kind of weird how he's always just levitating, right? And I saw his skirt. He's just a skeleton.
He's just a, that's not a skirt, that's a cloak.
A cloak.
And yeah, he's just a skeleton.
Just a skeleton.
In that weird mask.
Yes.
For a
And
head.
that's the mask that Yoko Taro shows up
Yeah.
in? That's super cool.
Yeah. I've shown you before, but yes, he wears that in all of his public appearances.
Do we know what Yoko Taro looks like?
Yes?
Or is he like a marshmallow type deal?
What do you mean a marshmallow?
You
Oh,
know,
you
like
mean
the
the- yeah.
DJ Marshmallow?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's marshmallow. Yep. I
What
get
did I
it.
say?
No, I get it. Yep. You call him marshmallow. And yeah, you didn't say anything wrong. You didn't. Oh, I might have just skipped an expanded cutscene. Because I don't want. Kaine wouldn't be jealous, bud.
the wolf.
Oh,
Oh.
see, shades are super aggressive. I think they're insane. It's been 1,300 years, right? Since
Mhm.
whatever happened.
Yeah.
Shit. Uh, I don't know why he chose 1,300 years, but 1,300 years is how many years Yoko Taro chose. Punching the elbow. Fida. I don't want to watch this again. Sorry.
Unlucky number 13.
Maybe. Or it just seems incomprehensibly long.
Mm. It's like a sand gondola.
Yeah, like a sand gondola, for sure. For sure. Going the wrong way.
Chilling.
Just chilling. I think it's funny that there's totally room for Kaine to sit on it with him, but she doesn't traverse the town. Kaine's too cool.
Is this the same town where she grew near where she grew up? Where her bully was?
That's Eri.
Oh yes.
The king is insane. But his people, his army protects him from his worst impulses. Let's go. Let's go fight a wolf. What do you think, Rachie?
Really fun.
Is that all that remain? The humans will be upon us shortly. We can make our escape if we move now.
So that's kind of misleading though, right?
What do you mean?
Because they're saying the humans will be upon us.
Yeah,
But they're not really
because
humans.
it's the shade. Yeah, they may not know. I hear you, my brothers, and I share your desire to die with honor. Your resolve is strong, and your pack thanks you. For the lives of our comrades, for the pride of our pack, death to the invaders.
Oh, oh, oh.
I thought try to say it's just. This is their scene. That's right. They're just another shade. But the shade is human soul, and it's insane. And this one thinks it's a wolf, right? Like the other one thought it was a little girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting these stories that recontextualize who the and what the shades are. I like it. The wolves are attacking the king. Well, don't let them. Oh, he's getting his butt whipped. Protect him with magic bullets. Stop going to that one. Go to the ones closest to me. Yeah, why are they... This is not normal for wolves to fight to the death like this. King is not in danger. I am very powerful. Take it. Dwig on, Jingy Boogie. Boosh. You're in trouble now, bro. Momentum and smack. Oh. And now it's probably going to get a monologue. Those were my very words. This is for my people and our fallen and for Fira. No. Dang. What have you done to... What have we done to deserve such a fate? I mean, you did kill Fira for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, right in the eyeball.
Uh-huh. Aww. Royal Kerberos. It was Gardener Guy's grave. Kind of what we thought. Grandfather. Sad. Yep, these are graves. Mm. Okay. Now we head for the check to see. Less than enthusiastic about such a trip. Agreed. We're going to go over here. I hit this here zone line. Do the Forest of Myth real quick, just to be done with it. And then we'll come back to the desert and do that quest. Yeah, take me to Northern Plains. We're going to do the Forest of Myth real quick, and then we'll come back and grab that weapon from the desert peoples. She's like, that's all I can do to stay awake. Nodding off. Don't really care. Ah. Spear boy with a spear and a boy and running with a book, and I'm gonna climb this bridge and get across. Fight these guys, maybe not. Don't. I need 88,000 XP. How much was that? Pretty decent, actually. Hey, you. Kill you dead. This doesn't take that long anymore. Boom, you're dead now. Okay. Boom. You ready, dude? Biggity, 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 boom. Bam. Fuck yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel good hunting these down like this. But they're experience. They'll respawn.
Yeah, they'll come back. We'll send our brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So I always have something to destroy. Bum ba bum bum ba da bum bum biddy dum bum 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 ba doo doo. I hope I don't have to do this one. It's gonna be a text-based adventure. This is gonna be the tree that I was telling you about.
Oh, cool.
So maybe I will do it. Hello. Rather strange when I touch the divine tree. Weird. See if it's the same. The trees, the woods. Agreed. You should talk, Vice. I don't think it's done. It's the dark entity that governs all memories. Want to know? That'd be nice. Black, pure darkness, painted over everything. Words scattered here and there across the blackness. Kind words, difficult words, amorous words, all sparkling in the dark like jewels. The words were few now, but time was shorter. Grabbing the words in desperation, the tree turned to the sky. This is wrong, whispered the tree in the voice of wind through the leaves. This is not how it was supposed to be. The plan has failed. Once, long ago, the tree had remembered everything about the world. This was its task, its function, its purpose. It shivered with something approaching joy as it collected the memories of mankind. This was no accident. Emotions were as much a part of the tree's root and bark. Memories collected like dew on the thick green leaves of the tree. And once they had formed a web that spanned the entire world. Words collapsed into sunlight before passing through the leaves and into the pool of memory. From the pool, the words joined together to form colonies. The colonies united into whirlpools of light, and the light coalesced into stars. Each star was like a child of the tree, and it loved them all. Look at my memory. A child is here, brought low by disease. He's far too young to have suffered so. Thin beyond words, the boy's skin is a shade paler than the bleached sheets upon which he lies. His parents no longer visit him, for they cannot bear to watch him suffer. The doctors have long since surrendered his fate to the gods. The boy, too, has abandoned hope. Strange emotions, weariness, hatred swell within the dark recesses of his young heart. He tries to reject the black terror that germinates in his body, but no amount of effort or tears can drive the invader away. He has long ceased to resent his parents and doctors. Once he did, but now his pain is so great that there is little room in his heart to think of others. Only one person brings the boy comfort, a healthy young girl with tan skin and deep green eyes. She's a beacon of brightness and light in the boy's world. Her very presence is a comfort to him, but he is unable to look upon her face. Whenever they meet, the boy is filled with loathing for his own state. Soon this loathing eats away at what joy he receives from the girl's visits. The girl will stop coming. He knows this. His every waking moment is spent in fear of this day. He thinks that if he could talk to her, if he could tell her of his feelings, This might not be so, but this conversation never happens. The girl disappears. The boy dies alone. The tree scoops up this memory and carefully stores it within itself. Etched upon it is a single word: envy. Look at my memory. There is a female warrior. Her greatest enemy is a beast with red eyes that she cannot fully comprehend. When she strikes it with her sword, it turns into a pillar of salt and dies. But when the white smoke clears, a new enemy rises, and another, and another. The warrior knows that her struggle is folly, but fighting the unending stream of enemies fills her with a sense of joy and purpose. Somewhere deep in the warrior's drug-addled mind lies a vague memory of a daughter. Perhaps the child exists only in her head, the dying remnants of a powerful dream. She does not know. Her friends and fellow warriors come and go. Some flee in terror. Some are eaten. She began the fight with 23 companions, but most are gone now. The warrior's body shudders, but does not understand why at first. By the time she hears the fierce, low sound, the arena is already enclosed in darkness. Looking up, the warrior sees a beast so large that it blots out the sky. She's laughing. She's been doing so for as long as she can remember. Covered in blood and dirt, the warrior laughs. She laughs and laughs until the town that contains her daughter collapses into a pile of dust. This memory has been stored for a long time. It's etched with a single word: loss. Look at my memory. A red dragon falls from the heavens. Ah, that memory has been lost. A shame. It was a favorite of mine. After many centuries of existence, the tree saw that its carefully labeled memories were beginning to dwindle. Once seemingly infinite, the memories now seemed ready to disappear forever. The tree did not feel sadness at this. Grief was an emotion beyond its comprehension. It did, however, have the distinct feeling that something was missing. The mountain of memories it had so carefully assembled had disappeared. The tree stretched its branches as far as it could, but new memories refused to flow. The pool of memories was a black, empty pit, a hollow place where life had once flourished. The tree had lost its purpose. There was nothing to be done but sift through the few remaining memories littering the ground under its branches. This is why the tree was pleased when the young man and his companion entered the room. Well, this place is gloomy as hell. The room Shags had entered was almost completely empty. All he could see were a few crystals scattered haphazardly on the ground. Picking up one of the crystals and peering into it, Shags suddenly saw a familiar sight. It was the Forest of Myth, its villagers prisoners of their own dreams. I apologize, the tree thought. That is all that remains. As Shags stared at the jewel, bewildered, a voice suddenly called out from the depths of his mind. The voice implored them to listen. It was an order. Following it was mandatory. Abruptly, the pair realized that they must listen. They must listen. Look there. A small, shadowy presence appeared from beneath the floor. It appeared to be a shade. The shade grasped several jewels in its hand. More jewels tumbled out of its mouth like shards of broken teeth, sights and sounds tinkling from each one before vanishing forever. The creature was abusing the memories, treating the precious objects like a collection of cheap playroom toys. Vice. This shade appears to be consuming the memories. These things are memories? Or eat memories? The tree extended a branch toward Shags. Without a second thought, Shags brought his blade down on the shade, tearing its stomach wide. Jewels burst from the shade and poured across the chamber floor. Look, thought the tree, there's the conviction memory I had lost, and satisfaction, and many others as well. Yes, this is good. The tree opened its mouth and attempted to speak, but no sound emerged. A millennium of silence and solitude had caused the tree to forget certain things, but rather than be upset, it greeted the development with good cheer. Focusing all its power on the riddle of speech, the tree formed a kind of makeshift vocal cord and tried again. Ahem, I implore... It spat out a glimmering green jewel. One more time. I implore you. There we are. What was the color of the lost envy? It spoke. This shade has intelligence and emotion. Who cares? Shags brushed Weiss's comment aside as his sword sliced through the Shade's right arm. The Shade extended its remaining arm to Shags. I must touch him. I must make contact. The moment its fingers brushed against Shag, the tree felt a warm sensation begin to burn. Something hot coursed through its fingers, up its arm, and out its entire body. It was emotion more than the entity had felt in centuries. The tree cried out in surprise and joy. 1,000 years alone, 1,000 years in quiet contemplation. The tree felt like it was going to break apart. For long centuries, the tree had been alone, its heart sealed with heavy chains. But no more. New, powerful emotions began to take hold, causing its heart to lighten. This was more than the simple emotions it had been designed to feel. It was the beginnings of a soul. And the young man was the key. This was the promise made long ago. This was how it would be released. The tree's stomach began to throb in pain, a new and unpleasant sensation. But the time was not yet right. I implore you, how many were lost by the warrior who fought the red-eyed beasts? Her daughter and 23 friends. Okay, riddle time's over. I'm going to kill this stupid Shade once and for all. Something round and shiny fell from the open stomach and clattered to the floor. The key, cried the book. Secure the key. The man's sword slowed. Time began to dilate around them, stretching and slowing. Time is essential. The next word must be heard. The words exploded. It became difficult to discern their meaning. The pool of memories began to crack as infinite blackness burrowed its way into the wall. This world is falling apart. How can a world of letters, I implore, most important thing, world. The light was complete. The memories disappeared. The tree's identity began to dissolve. As the letters slowly faded, Shags was drawn back to the real world, and the tree was satisfied.
Wow.
Intense.
Very intense.
Told you it was going to do this to me. Rational thought. Shoot. I didn't know that shades were capable of rational thought, he says. And then Shag says, I don't care if they can play the fiddle. They must die. Check to see if that letter has arrived from the brother. I guess. That isn't what we're going to do, though. We're going to come over here. We're going to come over here. Boom, boom. Rachie said, no, I'm not allowed to just buy a Switch. Oh, and guess what they're doing? Guess what they're doing again, Rachel?
What?
Guess what Nintendo is doing again?
What, baby?
They're remaking Ocarina of Time.
What is that?
Again. It's the Nintendo 64 Zelda that came out after A Link to the Past.
Huh.
Elliot's too good. Even Nintendo's like, shit.
No, we gotta do
That
something.
yeah, we gotta do damn Ocarina of Time again. That's the one that nobody really likes, but everyone talks about.
Ooh, the Labyrinth song is a really cool looking weapon.
Yeah.
Yes. It's beautiful.
Alright, get back here. Go to the brothers. Off to the junk heap. But that's not where we're going. We're actually going to the desert. I'm going to go talk to the king, and he's going to tell us about his afternoon and his sleep schedule. He says, I like to take a nap in the middle of the day. I call it a siesta. It's a new thing. And it's like, King, just because you speak Japanese doesn't mean that that's not a Spanish word for that. Do you know they call bread pan?
Pan?
Yep.
Yeah, just like in Spanish.
Just like in Portuguese, in fact.
And in Portuguese as well.
Did you know that?
I did.
That the Japanese they use the Portuguese word because they didn't have wheat bread before the Portuguese showed up. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I think that's pretty neat.
That is very neat.
They didn't have bread, so they call it pan.
It's in French too.
Pan?
Yeah. Ever heard of the store called Au Bon Pain?
What?
Au Bon Pain?
Au bon pan? No.
It's a very French little coffee shop.
Where Japanese people will sell you
No,
European style coffee and Japanese style breads. That's a real thing in Japan.
Yeah, it is.
I know it is. I'm a multicultural man. That's not true. But I am aware broadly of stuff in the world.
Yes, you are.
Like broadly.
Yes, you are. 100%.
I try my best to stay locked in on what people are like.
Can you swim that sand?
I cannot swim at all, baby. You know this.
Right.
He can't swim in water, but he can swim in much more difficult to navigate sand. Navigate sand.
He's hydrophobic, but are you sandophobic?
It's not that I'm sandophobic, baby. It's not that he's even hydrophobic. He explained his weapon is too big and heavy.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yes.
The wolves have dead also severed them, and we need to also acquire 20 pieces. Shit, I hit the wrong button. Is this the quest? Please don't be this. Say to me, a city. Oh, thank God. Okay, that was a city, etc. It will titanium and crystal. Those are not the quests.
Okay.
Bing bong. Don't hit yourself in the face, Rachel.
Jeez. Oh, I took my glasses off. Now I can't see.
She says, my glasses. I'm an old lady.
Juno just looked over here, just so you know.
She says, if she's an old lady, I'm an older lady.
So the quest name is what, can we say?
It's something about...
Disturbing the Sleep of Kings.
Yeah.
Okay.
When is it?
When?
I thought I was supposed to come talk to the king after.
Yes. Activation. Speak to the king at the top of the mansion. You will acquire the loyal service key fragment, which you got, right? The king of Facade asked you to clear all of the shades from the barren temple, which you did. You killed all the shades, and the ancient kings can rest now, which you did. Rewards, elaborate song. So do you maybe have it already? You don't know it?
No, I don't have the labyrinth song. I haven't done that quest.
I thought you did the...
I did the Cerberus part. I got the loyal Cerberus. That's as far as I got in that. You said, what is it called? The loyal something?
The labyrinth song.
I have Labyrinth's Whisper.
And that is a one-handed.
Yeah. You said I gotta talk to this guy? Do I have to do it after B? You said in run B, after you've done that quest to get loyal Cerberus, you go and talk to the king. Well, that ain't what happened. That ain't... Do I have to do other side quests? Man, that's a lot of shit. That's not gonna get me to the guy.
The king of Facade asked you to... This is the quest log. The king of Facade asked you to clear all of the shades from the barren temple, which is where the wolves were, right?
No, but...
Oh. So yeah, maybe you gotta go talk to the king again. You kill all the shades, and the ancient kings can rest now.
Yeah, he just didn't give me a quest. So I must have more story to do before he gives me that quest.
Gotcha.
Because I found him up on top of the building, but he didn't have a quest.
You did a shade entombed?
No. Is there a quest before that?
A prerequisite at the bottom of this. Hold on. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. client a masked soldier location facade. Facade needs you to put the hurt on some bandits. It's about time they gave you some real work, says Double. Shattered Tomb. Available during the second half of the game. Activation. Speak to the masked soldier to the right of the facade entrance after acquiring the loyal
Cerberus. I have the Cerberus.
Yeah, so after you acquire it, you go speak to this guard.
Well, there's one on the left, not one on the right.
To the right of the facade's entrance after acquiring the masked soldier.
Nightmares and Dust. Stage left, right? Barren Temple, accept quest. A Shade Entombed.
Yes, that's the one.
So we go back to the temple. Barren Temple.
Yep, you're gonna eliminate the bandits desecrating the Barren Temple.
Heard. You know what else I gotta do?
What?
Smoke this dang bowl.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Get me some ice?
Yes, exactly what I was gonna say.
Is it? We do have. She's so pretty.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, Juno snuck right by us. Did you see her?
Yeah, Vice, quit bitching. Well, yeah, Fira just died. Of course we did. Fira was great.
What do you want?
The blue one. Someone's in front of the temple. Help, help. Thank you, baby. Shade is too big and too dangerous to allow it to live. We must destroy it. I'm into it. Diddle-doo, daddle-doo, diddle-doo, daddle-doo, ding. I got a TV and I threw my shit in the floor. It'll be okay. Rachel said that she's not gonna beat you up yet. Take this from me, please. We're fucking winners, Rachel.
Wieners.
Wieners.
Australian hot dogs.
She said Australian hot dogs.
Austrian. Well, it's all sweaty and wet.
Yeah, because it's been on my balls for the last hour.
I love it. Smells like flowers. Come on, Megan. Hurts. We're good with this.
I don't think I'm a good whistler.
You are. You and my dad both.
I don't have a lot of control.
I can't whistle at all.
And I don't have a lot of range. The octave should be there.
Octave?
Yeah. The octave above that.
It always helps if you raise your eyebrows when you do it.
Someone, whoever had been watching for the last 30 minutes, they disagree with your assessment of my whistling.
They just left?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
They disagree vociferously.
Vociferously?
Actually, not vociferously. The opposite of vociferous. Quiet. She goes, I know that one. She goes, I don't know what. She goes, I don't know what vociferous is, but I know what the offers. I know you.
Loudly.
Obviously, you know.
Nico's voice.
Yeah. That's correct. That's correct. That's how those work. Those old iferous words.
Iferous?
Yeah. That is actually correct.
What's another iferous word?
Like volcaniferous
Volcaniferous
is probably not one, but there were a bunch of those words. They would take like Latin words and put iferous on it or orus on it, like
malodorous.
Well, ferrous, right? If you're talking about iron or having to do with iron, you say ferrous, or
malodorous.
Malodorous, yeah, or you could say like
boisterous.
Boisterous, yeah. The OUS is normal, yeah.
Vociferous.
Vociferous or like cantankerous or
cantankerous.
Or
what is a cantank? Cantank is probably what mean.
Yeah, I don't know. Tank with tank, tanker usness. I have no idea.
Huh.
But yeah, that is entirely how they made those old words.
I'm learning how to see words differently.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It makes life a bit more exciting.
Yeah, it does. So do you.
Like you now are very sweateriferous.
I'm sweateriferous.
Yeah.
Something Trevor would say.
Yeah, that's how Trevor uses words. Yeah, it's a way to make up words in an 18th and 17th century fashion.
You are really getting every little last bit of wick out of that wick. Huh?
Why wouldn't I? You spent money on this. Do I disrespect you?
That's very sweet.
Broadly? I waste a lot of your money on food and Mountain Dew. So I try not to waste this 50 cents on hemp wick. It covers itself in the end, I'm sure.
My husband's a hippie.
And my wife is impressed that I was able to manage that flame for so long.
I really was.
I've gotten really good at this.
Yes, you have. It's like you're the flame whispers.
That's how I'm thinking of it. I'm trying to practice being a flame whisperer because if I could figure it out, then our ancestors could have figured it out 2 million years ago.
Right on. Yeah, I mean they had to have, right? They were carrying fire from the brush to the town. They had to whisper the flame.
Precisely.
I learned that from a conversation we had yesterday. I had no idea that was a thing. But now to think of it, it's totally a thing because I saw it in something else too.
Carrying a brush fire back to a cave?
Yeah. And someone got real mad because they fell asleep. They were supposed to be watching the fire and they fell asleep and then the fire went out. I don't remember what it was though. It might have been an episode of Survivor. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like a survival thing. Yeah, you were supposed to be watching the fire. You let the fire go out, you idiot. We don't have a way to start it again. And where are we ever going to find a brush fire again?
Right. Right.
I'm drafting an essay now, and I've been talking about how I kind of am, and I should have written the titles down because I wasn't. I wanted to see if anybody wanted to grapple minds for a little bit, spar with me on the notion of the subject matter and the limitations of my actual knowledge. But what were we just talking about? avoiding tropes, and then I started to say something that was a good essay. And I didn't say it out loud, did I? Fuck! Okay.
Wait, we'll backtrack. So, taking the rug from under us
Yep.
infinitely.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
Avoidant, that's what it is. If I'm drafting a novel or an essay, if I'm practicing an essay with everything I've been doing since I started, since I did my um, 4 top JRPGs, and I have a different opinion about that now. Wildly different opinion about that now that I've played so many of them. East, for sure. I could remake that. Would be a good video. Rug pulling, Inside Out, Nested Dolls, Mobius strip donut stories. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to tell. And if I'm working on an essay, it's um I keep getting right there.
How do we tell motifs?
That was the other thing. That was what I wanted to go to next. That was what I actually wanted to start this with is motif, but it's got to do with Japanese storytelling.
So we want to stay away from the Western tropes. We're telling an Eastern story.
Because JRPGs are doing something that approaches cultural appropriation. But it's objectively not. As close as it gets, it can't actually be. Final Fantasy VII is so close to cultural appropriation it hurts to play, right? But it can't be because it sells gangbusters in the West. Cultural appropriation would be if I were to dress up like a samurai and do gangbusters in the West, not in Japan.
Yeah.
If I dressed up like a samurai and did gangbusters in Japan, it's not cultural appropriation.
If you dressed up as a cowboy doing gangbusters in Japan, then it would be cultural appropriation.
If I had no connection to American cowboy culture,
Right.
if I were Vanilla Ice, Vanilla Ice was cultural appropriation. He was taking the black thing and selling it to white kids. See?
Yeah.
Eminem is technically cultural appropriation. You must be like, oh, I grew up around him. Okay. But that's not what your actual life story suggests. They didn't actually want you around. So you didn't. You weren't one of them. Whatever. That's cultural appropriation. That's how getting close to it works. But what they're doing, it's brilliant. These JRPGs specifically, many of them are taking the Western stories that they grew up with or that they're familiar with, and they're telling them back to the West through a decidedly Japanese lens. And so what I want to do is that in return. Because I don't think they hear back from us.
Yeah.
We don't tell Japanese and Chinese stories as we understand them and as we've absorbed them through a decidedly Western lens. We don't get where there's no absorption and retransmission. And I want to start that process. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense what I mean? Like I am wildly inspired by Chinese storytelling and Japanese video games. wildly inspired by it. I didn't realize that there was a difference. I thought that a story was a story. And so I'm drafting the differences and approaches to story because there are them. There are them. Those exist. And the reason it matters to you, the end user, is because if there are 7 approaches to storytelling and there are 7 personalities and every personality fits one type of storytelling, then there is a storytelling style for you, right? If you are you the way you're sitting, are you agitating the thing?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we fix that, please? God damn. Don't you get on the chair.
Yeah.
Doesn't it hurt your back?
I won't do that.
Does it hurt your back?
I don't think so.
Why don't you
We'll
do that?
find out.
Why don't you do that?
Okay. I'm gonna do that. Thank you.
Yeah, let's use the kidney bean. Let's wrinkle it until it's like
Don't be mean.
a brain.
Don't be a bee. Don't be a little bee.
I turned over and I look at you and I know that you thought in your head,
I was just looking at you.
Uh-huh. Don't be like that. Go do the thing. Go sit down.
You don't be like that.
If you it's kind of like how the educational styles, Rachie and I kind of talked about this, and like kind of the first thing that really disappointed her or upset her about my approach is that she goes, oh yeah, my learning style is whatever she said, and I'm like, learning styles are kind of bullshit. That was one woman, and all of the research has proved her wrong. And so what I'm not doing is saying there are 7 storytelling styles. I'm saying that there is a myth about an east-west divide in our planet. There's a myth about it that sets up anti-Semitism. Because Semites live at the divide. And so they immigrate across it both directions all the time. Semites being Muslims and Jews, people who speak Semitic languages, Arabic or Hebrew or whatever. Yiddish is a combination. Okay? So they get caught up in that Venn diagram of this east-west divide. It doesn't happen in the Pacific Ocean because the Pacific Ocean is obviously eastern. And then South America gets these weird looks. The fuck are you people? Where do you belong in this circle?
Yeah, I was just about to ask if there's east and west storytelling, why not north and south?
Fact, because there is a northern and southern hemisphere divide in storytelling. I don't know what it is because South America and Africa don't play video. They don't make video games, and their cultures were erased by Christianity and Islam.
Which is kind of weird, right? Because isn't Brazil like huge on video games?
They're also
Even
huge into hentai. So
what is hentai?
hentai is anime porn. So what they're known for right now is anime porn.
I mean,
Brazil.
What I'm saying is that maybe
Yeah,
South
they're a
America-
huge consumer base. Why don't they have an Expedition 33? Because their government isn't stable enough
No, neither is
and
their
doesn't have a
currency.
national myth.
Their currency sucks too.
And they don't have a national myth that can support the foundation of a video game where they take a culture like knights or like space monsters and then they filter a specific national myth through it. Like that's what I kept telling you was the coolest thing. That's what initially grabbed me about Expedition 33, and I got to just start it over from the beginning and play it like this because it's taken its cues from this.
Yeah.
Killing the main fucking character fucks me up every time. But it's taken its cues from this. That's what I was telling you in the beginning. Is
Yeah.
you guys have to experience Near. So I'm gonna play it, and you can be near me and absorb it, or you can buy it, and but you're not gonna understand modern gaming without a broad vocabulary, because the good games have that vocabulary. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And sure, you'll be able to make your little "my girlfriend loves Expedition 33" video, and you'll make all the money in the world, but it will be inauthentic. And it will be incomplete if you don't have the, frankly, dizzying array of meta text, meta contextuality, that meta. So you've got normal, right? I don't remember what that word is in Greek, but you've got the status quo in Latin. You've got normal, your baseline in your medical terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Meta is above that. It's just above it, right? Conceptually, it's the gods are meta beings. And then you've got sub, right? And that's just below it. So, like, you've got Terranian, and then you've got, like, we would maybe say, like, super-Terranian in our language, but that would be like Mediterranean, would be like the sky, and then subterranean, you know that word.
Mm-hmm.
Terranean would be the ground.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or terraniferous, if you like, would be dirt, would be having to do with the dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it has the qualities of dirt, of terra, the earth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know that in South America, I mean, it has to be very cultural, right? Like Chinese storytelling.
Yes, it's cultural. It's
It has to do with their history, what they've lived through, like what.
it has to do with the isolation. It has to do with the isolation of the motif loop. Precisely, Rachel.
Yeah.
Culture is what we call that. But culture, when if we think about it for a second, and we just forget that there are people who make their living writing about this. We just think about it for a second. Culture is what they call what's in a petri dish.
Right.
How do we make that similar to human beings? Is we think about invisible boundaries. Like, one of the things that Rachel keeps thinking about with Chile and help me say this right, is it Brazil?
Brazil.
Brazil. Okay, on the I. So think on the I.
Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah, you guys have a warrior language, which is weird for
Yeah.
Portuguese is a warrior language, which is weird for the actual history of the Portuguese people.
Well, it started in Galicia, Portuguese language.
Yeah, and the Gaelic people were a very warlike people.
Yes.
The Gauls, they were very, very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a surprisingly German accent structure, which is neither here nor there. She's surprised by the invisible walls around Chile and Brazil. It surprises her constantly because America doesn't have the same kind of invisible walls. And by invisible walls, I mean like in a video game, where it's like, oh, you just can't go there. There's just nothing. Like, it looks like there's something behind here, but I can't seem to. Okay, right?
It's locked to you.
It's just locked to you.
Yeah.
It's there, but to you, there's no access. And she keeps being surprised by, okay, yeah. That's whatever you want to call it. Communism or totalitarianism or authoritarianism, whatever you want to call it. Invisible walls exist. Like,
Mhm.
if you want to go on JSTOR right now, or you want to go on Nature, or many like Scientific American or New Yorker, or many of the best accredited journalism sites on the internet, there's a wall there that you have to pay to get past.
Mhm.
So there's an invisible, okay, there's stuff across here, but I can't get at it.
Right.
Wall. Now you can steal it, but that's neither here nor there. Because I'm opposed to you stealing it. There is a hemisphere divide. In the English language, there is a hemispherical superiority wherein we ignore the southern hemisphere entirely. That's why that's why Egypt is grandfathered in as white, even among the Muslims, because it's technically above the northern hemisphere. Yeah, squint because it's that fucking arbitrary. It's stupid. You've heard me say it's just racism all the way down.
But why is it separated? Okay, so hold on.
Arbitrary divisions of human migration dating back to about 15, maybe 17,000 years ago is why.
Because you have Chinese storytelling, Japanese storytelling, then you have the West storytelling, right? That's
Western storytelling.
But if you think about it, like, maybe people in Alaska have their own way of storytelling.
They do.
And that's West.
Well, it's actually Eastern. It's not about where it's located, it's about the techniques and the evolution.
So, but why is it separated by, like, East-West?
Because of Thermopylae and fucking Herodotus, the thing that set me the fuck off this morning.
Oh, no. Because I'm sure the Russians have their own way of telling stories that it's not East or West.
They do. Tolstoy and Dostoevsky are hard fucking reads. And by that I mean difficult and unrewarding because they have a specifically Russian storytelling style.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't.
Australians, I'm sure they have
Australians
their own.
have their own. And then it gets to, it depends on, this is the next thing, how long it's been in isolation, how long it's had to marinate. They have like their own thing on TV, so they have their own culture, but they also absorb a lot of American, UK, Japanese, Chinese culture because it's also there being broadcast on them. So it's also about it's about isolation.
So it becomes a melting pot of influences.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it becomes less of a melting pot than like the rings of Saturn.
Okay.
You get information coming in and it's not leaving, but it's also not coming together to make one thing. So it's like it's literally orbiting like the rings. You know what the rings of Saturn are. I know you know what they are.
Yeah.
It's literally, it's just debris that's orbiting on a planar disk around the culture. And so people can reach out and grab at it like, ooh, piece of candy, I like that. And, ooh, piece of candy, I like that. None of it's cultural appropriation because it's in the culture, but it's like black people aren't actually melted into an alloy with white people in our culture. They remain in an orbit around the important people who keep white culture going. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you does that metaphor track?
Sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're singling out like Chinese storytelling and Japanese storytelling because of their isolation, because they've had so many centuries and centuries,
so long,
to marry.
And they underwent specific events that the West didn't. Specifically, they underwent Mao China. They underwent Maoist communism, which I know nothing about. I know nothing about Chinese communism today. I don't play their games. I'm talking about, up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
The storytelling as it developed up to that point. That's why once I figured out that Three Body Problem is actually written by a Chinese dude, I was locked in, right? Because I've only read the Journey West and I've only consumed that as far as what's come out of China, because I've just shut everything off as communist propaganda. Just shut all of that flow of information off as that flow of information off as misinformative and lying. Because when you hear from Chinese people, they're like, it's not the things they say, but they don't want to talk about it. And neither do I, because I don't care. They're here now and they're safe, right? So problem solved, right? What am I trying to say? But they had so long where they kept themselves isolated.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese science is garbage. They kept themselves isolated with the wall, but their aggressive wars outward. They were insular because of like, they were insular for good reasons. They were isolationist for good reasons for much of their history. Like when the UK showed up, or when Britain showed up, England, when they showed up, England deliberately deflated the cost on intoxicant opium so that their working and middle classes would become dependent upon it, and then they shut off the supply so they could win an easy war like that. And there were two opioid wars, and China is still getting vengeance on the West for that. There is a there is a divide, but that divide, you asked me, and I'll come back to your other, like, I know I didn't answer all of your question. The It's the isolation that makes their storytelling, because one class of people for like 1,000 years were the taste makers. It was we talked briefly about taste. It's about taste. It's about who decides what's tasteful. And so, like, when we were listening to Civilization 7, I did a bunch of talks with Gemini where you guys could hear him when I was talking, when I was playing Civilization 7, but we're listening to the soundtrack, and I kept listening to the different instruments that were dominant. And you remember I learned about that Chinese instrument, that Chinese clarinet. Sounds like a broken reed clarinet, just screaming.
Yeah.
That was a war instrument that was used by their lower class against the upper class in warfare. And so they thought it was ugly, so it became illegal to use. And so now their punk music is written in this busted reed clarinet that was a war weapon used against the people that dominate China today. And so it's hyper interesting how, no matter how hard we try to flatten the peaks and valleys that are human existence, that actually the peaks and the dips that are human existence, no matter how hard communism or any government tries to flatten it out, it always has a tail end that comes and shit back and jags it back out. It always happens. That's why my Argentinian friend is so interested in our recontextualization of the 1970s when we do that, because it's his life too. There was a Southern Hemisphere happening in the 70s and the 80s. No matter how hard MAGA wants to pretend, and the extreme alt-right want to pretend that it is still 1983 and that only the United States matters or has ever mattered. And so what was I saying? Japan underwent the atom bomb, and the samurai, the Edo era of Japan, we try to liken it to the European medieval, but China is China. Our classification, you're not wrong. Jedla, this person says China is an age-old monarchy. We can't really label them with their political systems. Their nationalism wouldn't allow anything else but communism. If we're going to label them correctly, they're a theocratic empire. They're not different from Rome at the height of the imperial cult. They're not different than that. We have to acknowledge the theocracy that is Confucianism if we're going to acknowledge them. And they still use the framework of divine right for communism. Divine right is, by terms, it's theocracy. It is a theocracy in terms. We don't call it that because the words that we use and the people that insist on the terms that are currently being used are people who insist on late 19th century terminology so that everything that's not the United States isn't Nazism. Because any form of socialism that's national is National Socialism. Hitler was mentally retarded and thought that socialism meant democracy and that communism was Judaism. That's why the Russians, when they say we're going to get the Jew, they actually meant communists. Because they meant Karl Marx. Because nobody could understand the difference in a practicing and a religious Jewish person. Sounds pretty fucking familiar, right? Yeah. And so if you can't understand these basic breakdowns, you're a fucking Nazi. That's how it works. because National Socialism is any form of socialism in the federal government that can't understand these fundamental breakdowns of how things work. That's where the East West comes from, because the first ever cultural divide that was written down rationally by a storyteller who called himself the same thing that modern historians call themselves when they call themselves historians, Herodotus of Athens. He went around and did the modern historian's historical method. He interviewed people and he reported tacitly what he heard. That's kind of what I think histories actually means interviews or something like that. And so what he did is he pieced together the best he could, given what he made up oftentimes, but what he got orally from people around the Mediterranean world of Egypt and Mesopotamia and the Levant. And he pieced together a deep history leading up to the war with Persia, the Persian War. He got this deep multi-century history of the movements of the Mesopotamians from Sumer on up. Sumer through Babylon to the Assyrians to Neo-Babylon to the whoever came next was probably the Persians. He got the movements and he got the broad strokes and he got the big cultural myths. And what he noticed is that there were motifs and cycles that did not exist in Homer. And he said, "Oh, well, we in the west of of Turkey, there's that strait or whatever that leads to that sea north of, I think that's the Black Sea, whatever that is, that Gulf or whatever, that strait right there. Anatolia was seen as the east. Greece was the west, because the dividing line was that strait that Persia used to destroy Athens twice. And so he wanted to know, how did they destroy us twice? Is what Herodotus wanted to know. And so he went and asked, why did Xerxes have the ability to do this? Who were these people? Where the hell did they come from? And so he set up an East versus West, where it's us versus them, where he took the cultural propaganda, because remember, I'm pretty sure that Herodotus was writing after the Peloponnesian War, after they'd already lost to Sparta and it was over. And so he was trying to encourage an Athenian national myth through reason and logic and rationality and interviews and consensus. He was trying to arrive at a consensus reality where Athens wasn't beat to death. They were the good guys, and they were still standing, and they needed to get up and do something. And Plato had the same existential crisis. Socrates died in the name of it. Like, this is not something I'm making up in order to talk on TV, this isn't TV. That's the East-West divide is entrenched there because Rome came in. I told you this morning. I don't mean to do that. I mean to say, you'll remember me saying this.
Yeah.
Rome walked in, punched Athens in the face, and then went, oh, wait a minute. They're actually more literate than we are, and they have more attractive women who are, a little bit more aggressive and fiery and push back a little bit more in the bedroom than ours do. This is fun. We like it here. And then they went into Sparta and they said, we object to your existence. And they turned it into a crater. And by the time they made it through Greece, Anatolia, and they hit Persia, they went, oh, we don't want a piece of that. And they came to truces and treaties and agreements whereby Persia would continue to trade with China through India. India only united the Indian subcontinent only united as a people one time. Other than that, it was just diffuse kingdoms that nobody really tries to keep track of. There are individual kingdoms that pop up in an historical order, but otherwise, nobody that I'm aware of who's not in India is trying to keep track of it because it's not interesting. It's just not. There aren't enough battles. There aren't enough slaughterings. There's just not enough catchy, grabby historical moments. And so Persia was allowed to continue to use the Silk Road to trade with China so long as Persia didn't invade West again. What? This is what happened.
No, I'm listening.
Japan, we recently, in the last 2 years or so, we recently genetically figured out that Japan was deliberately settled. We figured out that they were able to take those same boats that I showed you, that the story of Moses and that Gilgamesh rode, that not Gilgamesh, Utnapishtim, that same style of boat. Japan was settled by Chinese political and cultural and religious refugees. So the same way that the North American continent was settled by Catholics, Japan was settled by Chinese, some radical religious movement that has been lost to history. But what I'm trying to say is that there is a divide. The divide is artificial, and the divide has been insisted on because medieval Europeans who wanted to fight Muslims, for whatever reason, they wanted to fight them because they needed to fight somebody, and they had agreed for hundreds of years not to fight Christians anymore, and they'd run out of non-Christians in their land masses to slaughter en masse. This is not good, what they did. The Crusades were never okay. The things that they did were never politically or morally justifiable. I hate it that Medieval 3 Total War is finally coming out, and they're making the fucking Kingdom of Jerusalem a playable starting faction. That's upsetting. That's wildly and deeply upsetting. That kingdom was pulverized to dust for crimes against humanity. Oh my God. That is tasteless UK revisionist history, and Creative Assembly needs to stick to fucking Warhammer if they're going to keep doing this revisionist history garbage into the 2030s. Anyway, I object to taking the people that we know did war crimes and making them starting civs. That's why there's not a World War or World War II Total War. I was explaining this to my brother in 2007. I can remember clear as day. He goes, man, you know what'd be cool as shit? Because we were playing Empire together and we were texting back and forth about it. He goes, you know what'd be cool as shit? If you could play a World War II Total War. And I'm like, no, Zachary. There are people alive from that war.
Yeah.
No. The atrocities that you would be allowed to commit. He goes, yeah, but it'd be so cool to play with the German weapons. And I'm like, no, it would not, because the atrocities that were committed with those weapons are not repeatable.
Didn't Battlefield do that?
Yeah, Battlefield went back to World War One, not World War Two. When you play World War Two, you play as the good guys because the war is obvious. And so to the Athenians, that's what I'm trying to say. To the Athenians and the Romans and then the medieval people, the good guys were obviously the Greeks, because they spoke the language that we still speak today. They were Indo-European, and the Semites are Semitic. So obviously they're the bad guy. We're Indo-Europeans. You speak Spanish, Portuguese, Indo-European language. You're kind of grandfathered into the story in South America. Yeah. That's why we're so concerned with you guys not being communist in the wrong way, right? That's why Venezuela, right? You guys are grandfathered in because you speak an Indo-European language. That's why Afrikaans in South Africa is grandfathered in. That's why what's his face? Tesla dickhead. Elon Musk is allowed to be on the world stage at all. He speaks an Indo-European language. Because he speaks an Indo-European language, he's grandfathered in. But these Semitic and Asian languages, like an Indian is an Indo-European language, but like the Chinese languages and their variants, the Hungarian language families and their variants, Estonia has a real hard time being taken seriously in the EU. That's a real thing. You heard that guy talking about Norway, that thing we watched, Trolls. You saw the guy who was talking about the languages in Norway. They have a real hard time taking the language that was in Norway before modern, before Old Viking, Old Norse, the language that was there first. He talked about it. The people they didn't take them seriously because they didn't speak an Indo-European variant. We don't take Japanese, Chinese, and Semitic stories seriously as being written by human beings in the same way that we treat French and Spanish, Portuguese, German, Dutch, English, Latin, Italian, grudgingly Polish, Czech, Slovak, right? Russian. We look at it weird in English because of long history of wars with those people. But we ignore this stuff and we don't allow it to influence us because of the way that racism transformed itself in the 90s. And Rachel has already done a podcast on the channel about this. We decided that we didn't have to learn Spanish in the 90s because we'd already won. Obviously, English is the superior racial language. You guys had to speak it in the 80s in order to do business. So we don't have to learn Spanish. I heard that in my high school all the time. I don't have to learn it. I don't need to get a job. They can learn our language. And it's like,
well, 40 years later, now you kind of have to know Spanish.
you got to know Chinese too.
And
If you want to
you're gonna do
manage,
business.
if you want to do business and you want to manage, you have to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
And you have to learn Chinese. And increasingly, you're going to have to learn Japanese. But not having to learn Chinese and Japanese, this is what I'm telling you, not noticing when a story is Chinese or Japanese and just going, the Chinese censor our stuff, so I'm not going to watch anything that's written for them or that they like. That's racism.
Yeah.
That's the exact racism that we used to stand up and stump against in school when we were little kids. That's racism. And I'm going to say that exactly like Kevin Hart does, that's gay. That's racism. No. Stop. I don't care if you don't like anime. In fact, I don't like anime. I actually agree with, I was reading an article today by an anime artist who was saying effectively that anime has been used by Japanese culture to sell a white culture, and by that they meant whitewashed culture, and by that they meant hyper sterilized and falsely pure culture, because Japan is still a theocracy. They just organize God and the energy going to God through their corporations. And so what does an anime corporation have to do? An anime studio has to make money making anime. Otherwise, it can't exist. And so what do? They take the government money in the same way that Sparta did twice, maybe 3 times if memory serves, take Persian money. You have to take God's money. Because maybe the goal isn't actually punching at God. Maybe the goal is building houses for the poor. That's what Midgard did do. That's what another thing that I just don't understand. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII and I'm like, Shinra's the good guys. I don't understand how Shinra are the bad guys. Shinra are only the bad guys, and I can't understand this through osmosis in that story, but Shinra are only the bad guys in a post-nuclear nation where the bombs were dropped on them. And so if Final Fantasy VII is anything and it deserves any kudos to speak the Latin, what it deserves is acknowledgement that it was absolutely predicting that plant, that atomic plant that melted down on probably in Hiroshima, actually, I think. Fukushima. Yeah, the Fukushima plant. Shinra was Fukushima's power company.
Wow.
They were incompetent. No, not literally, metaphorically.
Right.
They're incompetent, arrogant, proud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Shinra's got this private military that Japan's not allowed to have, but all you have to do in order to arrive at Final Fantasy VII is realize that Japan is divided up not by local governments, but by local power plants, and that those power plants have outsized political and financial power in the community, and give them guns. And you're right back in Edo, Japan. That nothing changed. And so what I'm saying, nothing materially changed in China, it's because nothing did. Nothing materially changed in Egypt for like 5,000 years. Sure, there was churn at the top as far as what stories they got to participate in. I love it. Your braid looks very nice. back and forth until
Oh,
I
no, I'm
acknowledge it.
tickling my own back with
Oh,
it.
you're dumb. Things move slow at the lowest levels of communication. And in fact, literature technology does not accelerate the change. It does not accelerate the rate of change. Because it turns out that the lowest levels of civilization are illiterate and read badly when they're not. Frankly, they say things like society doesn't function by logic. Your definition of logic is broken. Absolutely, society functions by laws, which are bound together by words, and words are logos. Strings of words are called logoi, and logic is having to do with the logos. So you couldn't be more wrong. Anyway, this is why I'm so guarded of my and my friends' education, because people will say things that sound very smart, very prescient, very Nietzschean, and they will forget that Nietzsche was used to kill Jews en masse. That's called evil. And you know what you do with evil? Throw it in fucking fire. You don't think about it twice. You acknowledge that, this was used to kill people. Not putting that in my fucking brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a stupid person would do. What I don't need is a JRPG protagonist's reason to do extreme violence. Frankly, when you come across, this is why I might forgive it as I go through this series of essays, and I need more literacy, more vocabulary, more examples from which to draw. Final Fantasy 16 is evidence that the people who made it aren't abusers. The game isn't abusive. It's just stupid and boring. And that's bad enough. Because the same company made this. And Elliot.
Somebody else must have been at the helm for that one then.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm learning. Forgive the company on some level. The Tide isn't Shell. And Shell isn't BP. BP's the one that can't stop fucking losing tankers. Not all corporations are bent on evil and incompetence. But the ones that are definitely the bad guys. And so the dichotomy shouldn't be so difficult. The reason it's so difficult is because the East-West dichotomy doesn't make any fucking sense. That's why the good-evil dichotomy doesn't make sense. That's why. That's why people go, I don't think that evil exists as a category. And it's like, okay, well, have somebody fucking staple your foot to a floor. Now tell me that that's not evil to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Evil exists in the world. People do things like that to one another.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about GTA 6. GTA as a franchise is objectionable trash. Egotism has been the baseline definition of evil since the beginning of language. Every written lingual system, every single morality system that exists on this planet, whether written or lived, begins at egotism. Selfishness is the fundamental stepping stone toward human evil. If you're saying that they're not evil, they're just selfish, could not be more wrong. That would be like saying it's not red, it's red. You just put a different emphasis on the word. Well, Jesus said that being a good person isn't about good acts. The Egyptian people, remember last night when I came to bed, the TV was talking about how the Egyptian people had this slow evolution where they realized that your soul would be weighed on a scale against a feather, and that the good acts were swallowed up. Your good deeds had absolutely nothing to do with whether you were or were not a good person on the inside. It was everything to do with your thoughts and your intentions and your logic behind why you were doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
Everything. Their society was hung together by the logic that your internal framework had to be moral, had to be upright, had to be moral in the sense that the moral of your story is one that people could emulate, not one that people learned through opposition or learned through the negative, the inverse. Selfish is evil.
You know what that reminds me of? Stay sweet and obey.
That's exactly what it is. Stay sweet and obey. That's exactly what the
Right?
Egyptian religion is. Yeah. That's what Buddhism starts at. That's what Manichaeanism starts at. The phrase hear no evil, see no evil, right? The phrase good thoughts, good speech, good actions, right? It's about acknowledging that the true darkness is one's own capability of evil, because it requires selfishness. Like, okay, so in Nier, there are these two kids that we catch stealing. They're witnessed by people around town, and we talk to them, and the kids are like, well, we didn't really know that we weren't supposed to steal. Our dad told us to steal. And we're like, okay, well, how did that come about? And we go and find the dad, and he's drunk, and he goes, yeah, I told him to just take whatever they want. Who cares? They're kids. Nobody's going to say anything about it. And it's like, okay, it's about your capacity for evil. So your capacity to look at a situation and go, yeah, that's gray enough. I can get away with it. It's about steps toward. Like this game is, like you asked, where does darkness come from? Where does that darkness come from? And I say, well, it comes at choice. It comes at a proclivity, at a willingness to do harm. And the word evil the word evil in the English language just means harm, just means harmful. And selfish things are harmful to you as well,
Yeah.
in ways that you can never know. Like lying to somebody can be harmful to you in ways that you will never be able to save scum and find out. We don't get a new game plus wherein we get to recontextualize the ripples of the things that we do in our lives, not till we die. The life review is when you get to do that. And that happens. Suck it up. It might be a biological process, because while it's happening, we might be speaking out loud, and the people around us might need to hear it. It might be a biological process, because it also happens to people under absolutely life-altering amounts of hallucinogens, psychedelics. It might be a biological function. Will you take this, please? Morality absolutely exists. I just gave you a very, very succinct definition of morality. Any iti is a ness, and a moral is the lesson of your story. So any morality is the lesson there. And so a good moral or a good morality is one that one can emulate and learn from, and a negative morality or a bad or evil morality is one that one has to emulate in the negative by doing the opposite. It's like when you see somebody get an exemplary punishment, that's a negative morality. We might call it a negative reinforcement for the whole community. You're watching him get this punishment, him or her get this punishment, so that you know better than to do the same crime, because you're going to get the same punishment. How is it not an objective morality? The object of the story is to get to the moral and reinforce a behavior, either positively or negatively. the object of the morality play is the play itself. So when you view the play objectively, you're viewing the path toward the morality. This is how deconstruction works. You're deconstructing the thing as it is. If you're taking apart an inkjet printer, you're not criticizing it on grounds of its being a PlayStation 5. You're objectively deconstructing it as an inkjet printer. And the moral is put it back together or your dad's going to be pissed off.
Yeah. Facts.
Have you heard that story?
No,
Have
but
I told you that story?
This happened to me.
Ah, you took apart a printer?
I did.
What kind?
I don't fucking remember.
You remember. What kind of paper went in it? What kind of ink went in it?
It was the kind of ink that you actually take it from a little pot and put it in.
An inkjet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
I did
mess.
too. Yeah.
Huge mess.
My dad, I didn't make a mess.
I made a
It
mess.
didn't have any ink in it. That's why I did it.
Oh.
I knew I could not make a mess. Yeah, it's an inkjet. Cool. Ink jet.
Yeah. Little pots.
Yeah. English isn't different than Spanish in that we name things what they are. You don't notice how silly it is until you break apart the compound word. Wait a minute. It's just an ink jet? Okay. So it's an ink ejaculate printer? Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Yeah. Let's ejaculify this. Ejaculiferous.
Ejaculaferous.
Yeah, that's how you made words back then, dude. I'm not joking. You're still allowed to make words today. I still think Neebs is low-key a genius. I know it's not Neebs that says it. It's Anthony CSN who says it to Simon. He says some word that Simon doesn't like, and he goes, look, like Neebs always says, every word's made up. It's not wrong.
That's true.
I think about this all the time. I do it with the door thing. But, like, has anybody else ever noticed that Russian sounds just like English, except played backward? It sounds like it's played backward on, like, a record. But with a Russian accent.
In a little bit higher speed.
It's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I've always thought that. And then we're watching these. We'll be watching these Asian dramas,
Yeah.
and we'll turn on their native languages. So I think it's been a lot of Korean mostly.
Yeah.
I think it's been entirely Korean, in fact, except for Three Body Problem had Chinese. And I'm listening to them, and I'm like, nope, none of those sounds are similar. Not a one of them. Their vowels are wildly different.
Norwegian was very similar.
What was?
Norwegian.
Norwegian was weirdly similar.
But I think they were using English words on purpose.
Well, remember, the reason that English dropped its gendered endings is because the difference in Anglo-Saxon and Old Norse that became Norwegian, Old Norse were so similar that the primary difference in speaking it at the lowest levels was that the genders were often opposite. And so they just dropped the genders in English. So Nordic is Norse, Norwegian is still going to have those gendered endings, but sound the same as fucking English. And it does. It's weird. It is uncanny.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I feel like I know this language.
Swedish is very much like that too. Like you listen to it and it sounds like English, but you don't understand anything they're saying.
Yeah. But that's why Sweden has such high English literacy rates, because the Swedes are made fun of globally because they have a redneck language or a hillbilly language.
Really?
They're made fun of it for it.
It's beautiful.
I think so too. But so they learn English and they drop the accent as much as possible. Yeah. So they're not made fun of for having that hurgy-durgy-burgy thing that they do, you know, the sing-song way that they talk and the way it sounds. They're made fun of for it, like I just did. I think it sounds awesome, but it does sound silly as fuck. It does. Whatever. What were we talking about? I guess we're done. We were talking about the East-West divide and storytelling and why I'm so gripped by this.
Are you done with your notes?
I think so.
You got motif in there somewhere?
I wrote the word motif somewhere. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's about motifs. But I don't know that I know enough about motif I didn't educate myself as a visual artist, and so I didn't educate myself to communicate with a visual artist or b academic artists. I wanted to communicate with astrophysicists and neuroscientists and linguists and historians. Deliberate gap in my knowledge, I guess. But like I understand a motif to be like the sword and the stone. Kid pulling a sword out of a stone and it marks him as the chosen one, some heroic figure in the making. So if you see that, it means symbolically, I guess a motif would be like a three-dimensional symbol within a story. Because most stories are flat, they're two-dimensional, like tapestries, right?
Yeah.
And then a motif would be like a fully realized three-dimensional symbol within the thing that isn't a part of the thing. It's not original to the thing. It's deeply embedded in the genre, or maybe in another genre altogether. That's what I would define a motif as. I don't know if that's correct. No, I reject that there's no objective moral to every circumstances. We all have an objective moral. Anytime you're watching something and you go, well, they should have. Like you're gonna do the thing that you said, that's an objective moral. Subject to what? You're reacting to an object. You're not reacting outside yourself. Like objective doesn't mean to react outside yourself. Reacting objectively to your thoughts means to treat them as not a part of you. Reacting to something subjectively means to react to it like you're taking it apart, like it's a subject. And then to subject something to anything means to make it do it. So if you're reacting to something subjectively in that sense, it means to fit it to your mold. Well, subjectively speaking, I'm just going to say what I want it to be. See what I'm saying? Well, objectively, I see it as being this outside of what I want it to be. What I want it to be subjectively is this, but objectively, like people say that all the time, right? Like you might say, um, subjectively, I'm not going to lose this ash, but objectively, I know that in the past I have. Or you're looking at yourself in the whole of your behavior as an object. And then a subject is something, what? Bendable to your will, amenable even to your will. Like when you subject another person, your will is their action, command. Like your command is what is it they say? Yeah, your will is my command, is what people say. So when you will something, when you think it, like a
Or
person.
when the queens say, you know, these are my subjects,
Correct.
or I am your most loyal subject.
Correct.
So I am amiable to mold to whatever.
Yeah, it means whatever you want, whatever you whim, whatever it is that whatever way that you want to engage in the future. That's what will is. Willing is like,
yeah,
it's a into the future. I don't know how to describe that geometrically, but I can understand it. I can see it. What I mean, it's a parting of the Red Sea of the future. It's a clearing out of space in the probability cloud to make things happen.
There's a will, there's a way.
And yeah, that's exactly right. The will is the way. Yeah. Because a will is something more than a desire or a want or a need. A will is the it's the internal energy necessary and the internal energy over time necessary. It's something like the commitment necessary to actually see an action through. And so it's like, yeah, of course there's an objective morality because there was a will behind the action. And if the will was selfish, then it was deleterious of someone else's future. Deleting someone else's potential is a form of death, especially if you believe in anything approaching a multiverse theory, where every time you flip a coin and it lands heads, there's a version of you for whom it landed tails.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody took your dream job, there's a version of you who got it, right? But if they cut off the future potential of you ever being able to arrive at it, in no matter how many multiverse circumstances, that's a form of death. It's a form of cutting off. It's a form of killing that multiverse version of you who did, or could have. You see, it's a form of death, and ancient people understood this. That's why only the king and maybe his closest advisors, and oftentimes even then, only the king was allowed to will, or his wife. Oftentimes, the wife of the king was allowed to will. Oftentimes, the wife of the king is the one who did the willing, and the king was her most loyal subject. Facts. That's how it worked in Egypt. That's how the pharaoh. That's why the pharaoh had to marry his sister, because his sister was the one who actually owned the magic of the land. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
The incest marriages of the late Stone Age, of the early, let's say the early literate periods, were weird. They got obsessed with being able to mark down who owned what, and it was all passed down through daughters, and oftentimes uh, sons would have to marry their sisters. There would be no conception of the marriage, but they would have to marry their sisters in deed. You understand what I mean? Um, Title, like in on paper, right?
To keep things in the family.
To keep things in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, when father or mother died. Yeah, yeah. It got extreme and it got weird. Now they would then later, when they would sell the land, they would also sell the sister, but that's not great. And I think we need to remember that. I think we need to remember that. That is, as like much as history is a wonderful intellectual exercise, everybody who came before us is the bad guys.
Deeply flawed.
What?
Deeply flawed.
Deeply flawed. They're the people that our civilizations fought against in order to arrive where we are. And so when we look at them, we have to look at them honestly and contextualize them. This is why we don't like that. That's an objective morality. You see what I'm saying? And acting like, oh, we can be objective historians doesn't exist. Read history, it doesn't happen. History is published by propaganda engines and wings of governments. It's not published by private people. And when it was published by private people, Mormonism happened. I'm glad we haven't revisited that. I'm glad you haven't been like, I need it. Let's revisit it and hit that fucking vein again. Because
Well, I mean, you said it's about to get a lot worse.
It's about to get a lot fucking worse, and that vein is and that vein is starting to get sore.
I'm a little traumatized by it.
Those veins are starting to collapse. Actually, I'm starting to get tired of thinking about those evil fucks.
And to think that's going on right now as we speak, somewhere in this country, in 2026. That's what has me fucked up. Why hasn't anybody stepped in? Oh, freedom of religion, okay, whatever. But there's right and wrong. Come on. What kind of blind eye is everybody turning to this?
Yeah. I'm hoping.
Because there's no consent.
No.
Consent doesn't exist. It's just
not for those. That's the thing that's hardest. Is like we can't go in and liberate them en masse. You saw what happened. They pick up guns. They go nuts.
Yeah.
So you can't liberate them en masse, right? Can't. We learned that with the ATF and
Waco.
Waco. Thank you, David
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. Can't. Cannot. And then the Mormons are so deeply entrenched in the Midwest. The federal government has been trying to figure out what to do about them forever. The local and state governments have too. And so when you can walk up to a guy with a camera for a documentary and ask him why crimes against children aren't being prosecuted, and he goes, because I'm a polygamist, we're all polygamists. It's like, oh God.
So everybody's on the wrong side.
Everybody's not, yeah, they're on the wrong side of history, right? And it's like,
Disturbing. It's
you
fucking
have to be that
disturbing.
Christine woman. You have to have the money in order to live in it for a year and finally get them to do something illegal. And it's highly dangerous.
You saw how much she aged in 1 year.
Oh my God, didn't she? She went from a beautiful woman in her 60s to a haggard grandma in 9 months, just from the stress of being around that dude.
Ugh, so gross.
It is. It's
He is
terrible.
so gross.
It's terrible. And so I am just hoping that by talking about it, bringing awareness to it, that somebody will argue with me and it'll pop off. And then we can fight it my way, the only way I know how. And it's by talking about it and by saying, no, your definitions have to be wrong. Have to be. If we're going to use any amount of rigor, your approach has to be wrong. And just because you didn't know that rigor exists doesn't mean that it didn't before this conversation. I mean,
yeah.
Right? It's like my dad. My dad, when I was a kid, he used to say to me, your name is on everything you do. Your name is on every choice you make. Even if you are unaware that you've made a choice. He's like, you will be judged not on the choices, but on the tolerances. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Explain anyway.
Okay. So in a moving piece of engineering like a car, you have pieces.
That type of tolerance.
Correct.
Okay.
So you,
the margin of error.
Correct. Tolerance is your margin of error.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay.
Margin for error. Correct. You'll be judged on your margin for error. And you will be judged. That's the thing I don't think that people understand, is that as much as they go around preemptively judging, which is called prejudice, and that's what we agreed is racism, and we can't do that anymore. You can sue one another for prejudice. We think that if we go around prejudging things, I'm no different. I judged Elliot as trash. I went, Zelda, fuck this. Facts.
I was there.
Facts. It happened. I was prejudiced against this. Oh, it's just gonna be sad shit that I don't want to see.
Weird
Japanese sad bullshit. And it made me mad because I thought Square Enix was better than that. And it turns out they were.
It's humbling.
For me. Which is what I'm always trying to do. I'm always trying to sit up here and be humble. If I can be this critical of my definition, so can you. If I can sit and I can look at myself objectively and subjectively, I can sit beside myself and talk to you for a while. You can sit beside yourself. In or out of my presence. It doesn't have to be about me. It's not about me, in fact. It's about Nier does look decidedly cool.
It's so clean. Clean lines. You know, you can tell that they use their protractors and their right edges, and you know, it's all very.
I know what I want to do.
And it's not to get this weapon?
Not right now.
What do you want to do?
I want to do something else. Something just. I want to take the two of you who are here and Rachel with me. You don't have to stay. You're not likely to. But I want to get Square Enix's attention because they've been doing themselves wrong. They've been doing themselves and they've been doing their artists dirty for a long time by burying Drakengard because it is so caustic. Caustic might not even be the right word.
What does caustic mean?
Caustic means acidic. It'll burn you.
Mm.
The Squeenix needs to remake Drakengard faithfully and remake it faithfully. If the blood is a problem for China, figure it out. Every problem has a solution. If there's a no blood mode, make a no blood mode. Make it no blood first. Change the color of the spurts.
Capcom does it. You see, there's no blood in those animals that I killed.
That is a horrible, violent game, but it deserves to be remade. These Nier titles deserve to be more widely played. God damn it. Deserve to be more widely played. The storytelling that Square Enix uses, and as far as I know, they're the only company that uses it. The way they nest their endings so that you have to play the game. And Nier isn't Yoko Taro is the best, but I know that Yoko Taro is not the only one. The way do you know what innovation is, right? So when I say innovate on the form, you understand that innovate is just something slightly new, right? That seems obvious, right? But like if you're making gloves, innovating on the form of gloves, right, means a new feature or a fundamentally new way to think about gloves when you put them on, right? So like gloves that have the touchpad sensitive, that's an innovation in the form of glove.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? When you think about glove, you'll think about gloves that have touchscreen sensitive fingers, right? And then so like the next innovation on glove, right? A next innovation on glove might just be pads on the fingers that are sensitive to holographic technology. That might be, we might call it a glove. We might call it the e-glove or the hollow glove, right? Square consistent. I could probably go through and check their releases, but consistently one of the games that they release in a cycle, and I'm not sure how big, how long, I'm not sure whether a cycle is every year or not with Square, Enix. I'm not sure. I don't know. I would have to actually look at their release schedule. I came across this thesis on intuition almost entirely. But this goes here. No, we're good. This goes here. They have a game that innovates, that experiments, that does something new, even if it's just on the form of the genre in every cycle. And they used like Mana. That used to be what they were. They used to have Final Fantasy was their cash cow, but it always innovated on the form of JRPG. They just, what is a JRPG? Whatever Final Fantasy, the most recent, is, that's what a JRPG is. Innovation isn't always what drives sales or my interest. And these guys don't really innovate on their format. That's not what I'm talking about. I just brought up innovation because Yoko Taro was innovative in that he has this very specific way that he wants you to play through his games. And he has a very specific philosophy as regards game. What is a game? What makes a game? What makes a role playing experience a game? And I think I've narrowed it down to a historical bullet list, a bullet point list of like a bullet point, however you would say that, that I think actually explains it. I think that the way it works with the East West divide as regards China and Japan, but specifically Japan, is it goes something like this: 17,000 BP, 17,000 before present, they migrated to Japan, something like that. It might have been, well, they migrated between 17,000 BP and whenever it actually happened. Humans migrated out of Africa, up the coast to China, and into Japan. That where they settled, the Chinese, the Japanese. Then they began to diversify. The Chinese diversified and ultimately became the Japanese. Then there were wars that were fought, and then there was order that was settled upon, and then there were more wars that were fought, and that pattern happened until the bombs were dropped in Japan. Then the 1980s, gaming politics was a big deal because the culture war, there were a lot of people who were afraid that Japan was rapidly technologically advancing and would overtake the West, would overtake the United States, and had overtaken Europe. We know this. So the politics of gaming, they tried industrially to shut off chip manufacturing so that Japan couldn't also dominate the market in video games because Super Mario, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. You've heard me tell this story a million times. Nintendo did save the day by overcoming the deeply racist politics. Then gambling and U.S. satanic moral panics. So the U.S. panicked about gambling in the 70s and 80s, including pinball machines before that, if you remember. Video games got caught up in skills games because you had to play a quarter. And they actually did get sued. Arcade cabinets were sued broadly by the federal government as introducing children to gambling because you put in the quarter and it's skill based. That's what kids would say. Oh, it's skill based, whether my quarter is lost or not. And that's what they said about pinballs. And that's what people would say about slot machines and poker and blackjack. It's all skill based when it's not. It is, but it's not. You can convince yourself like this, I can stay alive. And like on Elliot, we stayed alive for all those hours because of skill, right? But the game would have been deliberately trying to kill us a lot harder if we were feeding it quarters. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
These are what the adults at the time were saying. Something radically different happened in Japan. They gathered around this, their kids gathered around arcades, but gambling was a problem. And so arcades were cool because they weren't gangster run gambling houses. So internet cafes, yay, keep the kids off the streets and out of gangs because these aren't run by the mafia or whatever it's called, right? And then and then AIDS and arcades. Arcades were associated with homoerotic behaviors. They were places where dudes could hook up. And so they were associated with the AIDS epidemic. Video games were associated with homoerotic behavior because two dudes are running a bedroom. And so video games were associated with the AIDS epidemic. Maybe not broadly or often, but for sure, the AIDS epidemic made people think about homosexuality in a different way, and video games were associated with gay people. And then in the 90s, as we're coming out of that, is the end of the latchkey and the beginning of the internet. So worldwide, the idea of letting your kid just kind of exist as an adult was going away because of internet crimes. and because of adults being able to get more access to the internet and news about the broader world through the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we're in the 90s. Racism, end of time cults, the new age, and Halo Online as we approach 2001, 2003, and on our way past 9/11. Then, as we're approaching 2010, we have sexism, games as arts, and the 2010 social justice scene. All of this affected Japanese storytelling and the way that they communicate with us through video games because they took the games as art approach. That's what this game and why Kaine. Because Japanese games broadly, were putting women in outfits like that, negligee in games that didn't make any fucking sense for her to be wearing a negligee like that woman that's in those patches that I showed you. They would put them in outfits like that and they would say, well, games is art, so we can have character design that's high art. And they kept arriving at Final Fantasy VII's, where you have absolutely objectionable characters and mediocre at best anime plots. And anime is fundamentally a storytelling medium for children. It's fundamentally Saturday morning cartoons for children.
Yeah.
No matter how adult the themes. Fundamentally, it comes out of Astro Boy, which comes out of Mickey Mouse. So regardless of your morality scale in anime, it's fundamentally Mickey Mouse. That's where it started. You have to take the information transmission in the same way that I'm doing with this list. And then the 2010 social justice looked at all video games, lumped up all video games and said, okay, well, if Japan's making 50% of them, 50% of them are objectionable, which makes all of them trash. And so that the video games as art argument really picked up. And then the 2010 social justice, everybody has left now that I'm in the 2010s, and it's starting to get into shit they can actually remember and how worked up they were about social justice in the 2010s, right? Black people need to vote. We need more representation in video games. Women should be carrying swords, yada, yada, yada. We're 16 years downstream from all that. And now the women who were all in arms about it are going, okay, it's dumb when a woman carries a 200 sword in a fantasy game. And it's like, yeah, we fucking told you. It wasn't good and heavenly sword. And they're like, what was that? And we're like, exactly. Assholes. Anyway, then it moves to language isolation, cultural silos, and sex tourism is how I would bullet point the next. You've got Japan, English, Spanish, French. All of these languages are silos of information and assumptions about the languages that aren't them. They all culturally silo because of now we're downstream of cultural appropriation. So now your culture is yours and you silo it and you keep it for yourself to dole out as advertisements for cultural tour or for sexual tourism. This is why I get so annoyed with anime, specifically with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I keep looking at Tifa and I'm like, okay, your boobs are a moderate size, but your skirt is shorter. That's cultural tourism. I mean, that's a cultural silo. Beautiful Japanese body types as sex tourism. Come to Japan and get your Japanese body type fixation where the root is, and spend money here, but leave with your little bastard baby, and maybe take her because she's not Japanese enough to have not slept with you. That's their real culture. And so Tifa's wrapped up in this. And so then I would conclude on Capcom, Falcon Nihon, and everybody else. Because Capcom doesn't seem to rely on this. I haven't seen a single game where I'm like, I'm not playing that because the women are too sexy. Even when Jill Valentine was in the hooker outfit, it's because she was undercover as a hooker. She's still a cop, right? They do that to women in movies. The Japanese wouldn't know that that's tasteless. Maybe it's not tasteless. They did it to women in the movies in the 90s all the time. Or they did it to women in movies all the time. They did it with women cops all the time. That's what Dexter's sister hates about her job, is the only thing she's allowed to do is dress up like a hooker and get Johns all day.
Well, that's what La Femme Nikita was pretty much.
It's all La Femme. I was going to use that exact. Thank you for actually knowing.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You see me?
Sometimes You say sometimes you say things where I'm like, she had her eyes open, just most of her head was in her butt because of a boy. Yeah, that's what La Femme Nikita is. Yeah, exactly. And so on some level, the damaged woman who forgets that to people who don't have that body, having that body as a sexual selector, that not putting a lot of clothes on it is a bad thing. Because she never looked at one other woman's body and thought, oh, why don't I look like that? She was busy thinking about how to get a hold of her assaulter,
Right.
And hurt him. And so now I want to see if I can find a decent deep dive into Drakengard.
You've been talking about this game a lot.
I've been talking about it a lot, and I can't talk about it from memory. It affected me, and I trauma blocked all of it.
And there's 2 of them?
3. The third one is openly about a character who is SA'd, and it fucks me up. Well, fucked me up at the time. I couldn't at the time. So you guys can stick around. I might get tired of this live if nobody wants to stick around for a while, or after a while, but I'm seeing a lot of Yoko Taro in my old work that I didn't know was there. It certainly was not on purpose. And so I want to see if Drakengard is in there, and if maybe I can tacitly steal from it. Because I keep running into these walls where my story doesn't work. Oh, did you watch this? I watched this before. We could totally watch that. Yep. Four hours might be too much.
Hey.
Huh?
Scared me.
Yeah, sorry. I don't want to watch this because it's going to do Automata. You see these titles, right, Rachie?
Yeah. Oh.
What?
A lot of connection between the two.
It's a direct sequel.
Looks like you started to watch that for a minute.
It had quite an interesting origin. It was developed by Kavi.
Yeah, I made it 2 minutes in. Just under.
Drakengard is an incredibly split game. On one hand, its legacy is monumental.
I'm going to disagree with a lot of what he says.
Would officially start Yoko Taro's career as a game director and would eventually spawn the Nier games. The game also tells a wonderful tale, breaking boundaries and branching out by doing new things for the Japanese fantasy games of that time.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Drakengard is somewhat of a tedious entry.
See his sleeves look like Nier's?
Incredibly bland and slow. The game design is satisfying at some parts, but mostly tedious.
I
Half of the
disagree.
game
I
is
like
fun
it.
and enthralling, while the other is slow and monotonous. But the art, design, and turn that the story takes make it a game that you cannot miss. Its story twists and runs around, taking you along for the ride, but never really telling you where you're going. It's ambitious, interesting, and mostly incredibly depressing. It would just be the start for the series and the beginning of something great, but it isn't perfect on its own.
His flat
So today,
reading makes me so mad. That's why I didn't make it very far. I disagree with everything he's saying. I liked the gameplay. It was
If
unlike
you enjoyed the video,
anything
like,
else on the
support me,
market at the
consider
time.
liking the video and
Oh, it's
subscribing,
tedious
as it
because I
really
gotta
helps me
hit
out
the,
to
I gotta
continue
kill
making
my way
videos
through all
like
these
this.
guys. Fuck
You
you,
can
man.
also
Dragon
support me on
Warriors was
Patreon, where
boring
I
and
give out
tedious
early
too.
access to my
Not
videos,
Dragon Warriors.
scattered
Um,
text post
Dynasty
updates,
Warriors.
and longer versions of my full
This is the genre.
perspectives. You
Shut
can
up
also follow
about
me
bitching
on
about the
Twitch, where I
genre.
play games that I'm not currently reviewing. Spoilers for Drakengard. Hey Dad, it's me, your favorite son, and today I'd like to talk about Drakengard.
God, I hate this guy.
Drakengard actually had quite an interesting origin. It was
I
developed
hate
by
that he doesn't
Kaguya,
fucking
published
and then
by
he doesn't
Square
fucking
Enix.
emphasize in
The
his
idea
work.
for
It
the
had
game
quite
began
an
when
interesting
Takamasa Shiba
origin.
and Takuya
I'm
Iwasaki
obviously
were having a
reading this.
conversation at a bar. Shiba was working
Having a
with
conversation
Square
at a
Enix
bar.
the time, and Iwasaki
Hate
had done
his
some work on
narration.
Final Fantasy IX and Kingdom Hearts. at
See how
this point. The two had the
he
idea to make a game
punctuates
that
every
was like Ace
sentence the
Combat,
same.
but with dragons. Yoko Taro eventually joined the project as an art
Told you.
director, but his designs weren't on par with what the team wanted. Since Iwasaki and Shiba didn't have confidence in their creative writing abilities, they made Taro the director of the project, and he wrote its script along with Sawako Natori. The team wanted to make a story that had a much darker tone than fantasy series at the time. They wanted to juxtapose themselves with the lighthearted and upbeat styles of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. Throughout development, the gameplay for Drakengard was shifted quite a lot. The team decided to add in ground-based combat, in addition to the aerial combat that the game started out including. This created numerous issues for the team. On top of that, Enix and Square...
Look how cool
were
Magic
their
is.
merger
Fuck
at
him.
the
This
time
is
of
awesome.
development, so Taro was
Look how
getting
cool that
lots of
is. Come here, you fucker.
suggestions
You're
for
dead now.
design changes
Fuck
from
you.
the board.
Come
The
here.
world of Drakengard
Eat
remains
this.
particularly
Told you
dark
that's what he was
and
gonna do.
bleak.
Yeah,
Most of the
fucks.
characters in the games are morally gray.
They're
Drakengard's
morally
story
fucking
was
brown.
influenced by Celtic
They're all covered in
folklore
poop.
and Neon Genesis Evangelion. So if you like those two things, you're in for a good time. At the time of development, Taro didn't think the game would be getting a sequel. The game included 5 endings, all of which were very bleak and dark. Taro was so
5
worried about the
endings?
game's tone and dark nature that Yosuke Saito went to pitch the game to Sony. They were so tired of reviewing pitches that day that they just approved the project without ever looking at it. Drakengard would eventually be announced in December of 2002. It
It's
was
the same
released in
language as
Japan
there.
Drag on Dragoon on September 11th, 2003, and then was renamed for Western audiences because Drag on Dragoon didn't sound cool enough in English. Drakengard was released in North America for the PlayStation 2 on March 2nd, 2004.
And it was awesome.
A few notes before we get into things. Drakengard was originally released for the PlayStation 2. I emulated the game for this review. I played it on the PCS X2 emulator. I did have some graphical issues in the beginning of my footage that I wasn't sure if they were part of the game or not. For the most part, though, the game ran fine with minimal issues or bugs. The second note is on the structure of this review. Like I said before, Drakengard had multiple endings, 5 in total. This would become a staple of Yoko Taro games moving forward. Because of this, I will first talk about the game, its story, its gameplay and mechanics, up until the first ending of the game. I will then go back to talk about all of the other endings, analyzing each one at the end. The game begins in an older time, when dragons still flew. The Union and the Empire are currently warring over a goddess. The Empire has gained great power recently, and they have begun to attack the castle where the goddess is held. We then see Firia, the goddess that all this killing is over. She's inside the castle, overlooking a book as its pages begin to flip. We see a battle raging outside. Firia's brother, Kayam, is fighting out on the field. Kayam is the heir to a small state that is part of the Union. During the battle, Kayam is wounded. He sees the Empire's troops begin to take the castle and makes his way back to the main building. Kayam and Furii are orphans. Their parents were murdered by the Empire, specifically
Doesn't that look awesome?
by a black
Games
dragon.
don't look
We
much better
officially
than
get
that
to
today.
control Kayam and start slaughtering our enemies on the battlefield as we head towards the
That
castle.
was pretty cool.
He
Like,
defeats the
we could
commander
find a
of
way
the
to make
line,
this.
barely making it inside the castle gates.
Look how
Still,
many enemies are on
inside.
screen.
When he does make it inside, he finds that the Empire has captured and wounded a dragon. This reminds Kayam of his parents' death. Because of what he experienced, he has a great hatred for all dragons. As he's about to kill the dragon, he decides to make a pact with the beast.
Kill me if you desire, but you can never dirty my soul-hatched human.
Tell me, do you still want us to live, dragon?
What?
A pact! There's no other way!
What makes you worthy of that of me?
Worthy or not, I wish to live. Despise me if you will, but I shall not die!
In the world of Drakengard, called Midgard, humans can make pacts with all manner of creatures. These pacts usually provide the humans some sort of abilities, powers, or help from the creatures. The pact requires that the humans lose something, though. Neither truly wanting to make a pact with each other, Khaim hating dragons and the dragon hating humans, but as the dragon says, they are united by their need to live. The dragon breaks from its chains, and they are both healed as Khaim rises into the air. But Khaim had to give up something, his voice. He can no longer speak. We begin
My
our
mermaid.
first aerial mission. Before we talk more about the story, we should probably talk about the combat of Drakengard. There are two types of fighting sequences in the game, ground combat and aerial
This is awesome.
combat.
The aerial
Ground
combat, sick.
combat is easily the worst of the two.
I disagree.
As I said before, this was mostly added to garner some more attention based on the massive success that was Dynasty Warriors. A
Told
lot
you.
of games were trying to be Dynasty Warriors clones at the time and
Mm-hmm.
grab some of their attention.
Yeah,
So at its
It's
best,
the genre.
Drakengard's ground combat
Look at
is
that.
a poor man's Dynasty
I
Warriors.
disagree. It
The
was
combat
much
is
cooler.
especially tired in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
We have a limited set of things that we can do.
That's
in
every
combat.
video game.
Pressing square will attack, but at the beginning we can only really do a 3-hit combo. This will go up depending on the level of our weapon. Pressing triangle during certain points in one of these combos will do a special move that's different based on whichever of the 64 weapons that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking will also fill up our magic meter at the bottom of the screen.
When I
Magic
say I want a
is
game
based
that'll
on
just let me
weapon
grind,
producing
this is exactly what
well.
I'm talking
This
about,
can be
Rachel.
as simple as shooting fireballs out in front of us.
So let me do this
or
for a couple
summoning a
hours.
magic barrier that will
Why is
bring
that so
down
much to ask
anything
for?
touching Khaim. As we level up weapons, the powers
Yeah, come here, you
also
fuck.
get stronger,
Die, die,
transform,
die,
and we
die,
get
die,
more magic
die,
meter
and I'll
when
listen to an
using said
audiobook.
weapon.
And
There's
it'll be
a large
great.
amount of variety here, and it's one thing I'll commend the game for. It seems that every weapon is distinct,
Yeah,
and it
not
depends
doesn't
on what
seem.
sort of
Every
play
weapon
style
is
you want
distinct.
to go for.
It's not about
We
play
start out
style.
only with Khaim's sword. This is a basic sword that gives us the ability to shoot out a fireball, damaging enemies it touches and in the area it lands. Ground combat also changes as we get the ability to use the dragon. We can hop on the dragon during ground combat and fly around, torching our enemies.
This
from
is why
above.
ground combat
The
is
dragons
awesome.
can also use magic, which results in
'Cause
a
you don't have
hail
to go
of
around
fire
hacking at 'em
raining
like
down
that.
on the enemies
If you're just
around
trying to
us.
do it quick,
This
fuck this
generally
map.
works all right, though the controls
What?
can be a bit awkward. Also, later in the game,
It was a
enemies
PlayStation
get
2 game.
really tanky, so a lot of the time we just end up circling back to
Yeah.
targets to wear down their health over time.
Yeah,
We can
you're
also
a
get
weak
knocked off the
dragon.
by ranged enemies or archers on the ground. This creates situations where we really
You have to
just
be good at the
can't
game.
use the dragon at all and are forced to go on foot.
Yeah,
We can try and dodge around the volleys.
It's
of
called a
arrows,
video
but it
game,
just
bro.
doesn't really work.
you can hear
Most
him being
ground
annoyed
shooter
that it's a
structures
video
have
game.
specific
Like,
targets
it's a
that we
game.
have
Can
to
you
take
hear
out.
him?
We kill
With
these
the
targets
it's a
and then
game. It's
either
not just a
load
god
the
sim.
spawn that we have to kill, or
I have an
we
objective I have to do and it's
usually
resisting
corner,
me.
And the game likes to
This is
drag
what I'm
out
talking about when I'm
missions
talking
by
about
spawning new targets over and
the
over again.
game.
Enemies in Drakengard are generally pretty simple. Some of them will attack faster or slower, have more health or less, and there are even some spellcasters. The biggest variety in enemy design, though, is the anti-magic enemies. These enemies have a small red indicator letting us know that we can't use magic on them. Well, we can.
Same
but if we
rules
do,
as
they
in Nier.
counterattack, damaging us.
Yep.
This
Same
is
rules
fine
as in
and
Nier.
is probably a good way to introduce challenge and force the player to use different methods.
See how he's
of
going to
approach.
complain about
The
challenge?
only problem is we can't use the dragon on these enemies, otherwise we'll be knocked off by the counterattack. On top of that, the magic
Then
button
don't.
and the combo button are the same, triangle. So when we're fighting non-magic enemies and we try to initiate a combo ability, sometimes we time it wrong and activate our magic.
Then don't time it
attacking
wrong.
Anti-magic enemies and taking damage from their counterattacks. If you want to play it safe, this leaves us only one way to go, which is spamming square over and over again. There really just
They're
isn't enough
casters. It's 4
variety in
hits.
combat in general.
It's
It
a
becomes
PlayStation
very
2 game
tedious
and a
over
first
time. The
generation
ground missions
IP.
just stretch themselves out so long, and there are so many of them.
I couldn't
We're just
disagree
slicing
more.
down hordes of enemies doing the same thing over and over again.
That's
It
what the
really
game
becomes
is.
so tiresome and just not worth it. That's the
It
biggest problem
absolutely
that
is
the game
worth it. I
has,
sit
is
around and I
with
think about it all the
fatigue.
time. I wish I were
I should
playing
also
this.
note that we cannot control the camera when we're on the ground. This creates so many awkward situations where we're trying to run at the camera and hope that the enemies don't attack before it flips itself around to show us our battlefield.
Or you
It's
could
even
just
worse
know
in
the game.
situations where we're fighting against ranged foes. There was a point early on where I started to believe that I was enjoying the ground combat. I quickly realized that I was being tricked. I wasn't enjoying the combat because it was good, it was because there was a momentary satisfaction. Slicing down big groups of enemies was pleasing to my brain, and seeing the numbers go up was great, but there was nothing else there. We can dodge and block with kindness.
Yeah, there is
Dodge
something
the
else there.
worst
It's called
thing
leveling
ever.
up your
It's
weapons
maps
and
to
getting
the
the
right and left
stories of the
bumpers. We
weapons,
can only
you
dodge
asshole.
right or left, and don't ask how the game decides which way it's going to dodge.
Doesn't
outside
matter.
of that. I think it's based on the camera placement, but every time I would try and dodge, it would throw me in some wild direction. It also just wasn't really ever useful because Drakengard isn't really hard. There was one boss fight towards the end of the game where I absolutely needed to dodge, but outside of that, just slicing up enemies and using magic was really the only necessary thing in the game. The other type of combat encounter in Drakengard is the aerial combat. Aerial combat is much better than ground, and you can tell that the game was originally designed to include just this. The ground combat was definitely an afterthought.
To
In the
include
sky,
just
we can
this?
control
To
our
be
dragon.
just
We can
this?
fire at enemies manually or lock onto them. We can also charge up our magic meter here and use it to send a massive volley of projectiles at enemies. The types of enemies that we'll fight are pretty varied. I will say the flight missions are where the art direction really comes into play. We get to see wide vistas, powerful enemies, and really great sights. The style and aesthetic of the game is really unique.
These
and
were hard as
genuinely good.
shit.
The aerial missions do have an enemy variety problem of their own. They surely aren't as bad as the ground missions, but it is an issue.
Why do you need
There are
enemy
tons of different
variety?
types of
It's an
enemies, but a lot
established
of them
war
result
between
in the
established
same thing.
factions.
There are too many enemies that will block our attacks until they attack us. It got to a point in the game where a new enemy was introduced, and I just automatically assumed I had to wait for them to attack so that I could damage them. And most of the time, I was right. That being said, the aerial missions are quite fun for the most part. Generally, they don't overstay their welcome. We just have to take out the targets on the screen and usually kill everything in front of us. They aren't as watered down as the ground missions. There are some that are a little too long, but never to the extent that Kayam's solo sections were. In general, combat feels like two wildly different games. One feels half-baked with some alright ideas, but really poor execution. The other feels like a genuine attempt at making something fun, while also
Clearly
introducing
did
new
not play
style
the
and
genre at the
design
time.
to the formula.
He's comparing,
Overall,
he says
it's
poor
all
execution,
fun,
he's
and
comparing
there
it to
were
modern
genuine good
standards.
moments and really bad
Hate
moments.
this.
There's a lot of good
Could
here,
not
but
be a
just
worse
as much
review
bad.
or
Kyle mounts the
retrospective.
dragon
This
and
is not how
takes
you
it into the sky.
retrospect.
They begin to take out the Empire
You hear what
forces,
you see what I'm
storming the
saying?
castle.
He's not
While in
viewing
the
this
sky,
in the
we will often
spec.
hear
He's not viewing
projections
this
from
in the
our
same
dragon or from other
terms of
characters
the
in the game.
time.
This creates a constant
He's
flow
not
of
viewing
narrative
it compared to
information
other
flowing
games in the
characters and
genre.
plot lines as we're fighting
There was
waves of foes.
significantly
We
less to
learn pretty
do
quickly that the
in
dragon
Dynasty
Kaya made a
Warriors.
pact with
Still
protects
is
its
significantly
humans.
less.
She thinks
I
they
still
are a
want to
foul
play
race
this.
that is far below dragons and doesn't understand them at all. The dragon remarks that with Kayam's voice gone, she will speak for both of them. This sets the tone for the game, the story, and the turn that Kayam will make throughout the tale. The distaste, disgust, and apathy that the dragon spits out is representative in a change in Kayam as well. Kayam heads
I just
into
keep
the
thinking,
castle
can
to
you
save
be
his
better
sister.
at this game?
Kiri-ai is
Maybe if you were
incredibly
better at it,
important,
you
not
wouldn't
only
take
because
so
she is
long
the
to kill
goddess,
this stuff.
but because
Maybe if
she
you,
is a
leveled
seal.
up your
There are
weapons,
4
you
seals in
wouldn't suck so
Midgard
bad.
that
You would have
protect
more
it
than
from
3
falling
hits.
into madness. Firi-ai is one of these, with the other 3 being the desert seal, ocean seal, and
That's what I'm saying.
forest
These
seal.
people review
We head
this
through the
stuff or they
castle, cutting down any
retrospect
soldiers in our
this
way.
stuff and they speed run it as quick as they can. They don't get good at it and they
Ingvar
deliberately
is
don't play it
Kayam's
on its
friend,
own
and he's
terms.
staving off soldiers that have already made it to her room. When Kayam makes it to them, he begins repeatedly stabbing a soldier. We learn that Kayam has a massive bloodlust and anger and rage inside of him. Furii and Inuart realize that Kayam can't speak. Inuart suggests that they take Furii to the elf village. The elves are bound to neutrality, unable to take a side. Before Furii was the goddess, she was betrothed to Inuart, so he will do anything to keep her safe. Inuart is a harp player, and before they head off, he decides to sing a song for the two.
The usual song?
When we arrive at the elf village, we find that it's already been attacked. The neutral place and safe haven that the group has sought out isn't what they needed to find. Inuart decides to look at the village for
Hoped
himself.
to find?
He doesn't trust the dragon pack beast. We have to defend the skies from the Imperial forces inhabiting it and the forests themselves. We eventually arrive at the village to find it completely destroyed. Inuart has completely lost hope at this point. The dragon then begins to hear the voice of the hierarch Verdele.
Is it a temple in the desert?
He is essentially a priest who acts as a guardian of the four seals. He also has a packed beast in that of a petrified dragon. Since he has a pact, he can therefore hear and communicate with other pact holders. He's currently at the temple in the desert. Inuart feels a failure for not being able to protect Furii as easily as he thought he could. The group decides to head to the desert temple to find Verdele. Before we leave, Kayam finds a message written in blood.
Speak not the watchers, draw not the watchers, write not the watchers, scold not the watchers, sing not the watchers, call not the watchers' name. What is this?
The Watchers are some type of otherworldly beings that will arrive if the seals are broken. We find a woman dying nearby who tells us that the cult of the Watchers attacked the village and took everything to a place in the valley. We track down the cult and defeat them in the valley, battling a massive wave of priests. When we finally slay the final priest, we realize the elves were taken somewhere else. At this point, the dragon loses Verdele's voice. She can no longer hear him. A man crawls up and tells us that the Empire has taken his village in the Fairy Valley. The dragon asks Kayam an important question.
Do you go to save lives, or to take them?
Kayam has built up a massive hatred for the Empire. He wants them dead, and nothing the dragon can say will stop him. We take out the Imperial forces about the village, but when we arrive, we see a man with a knife pointed to his neck. This man is Leonard. He lives in the forest with his three younger brothers. Leonard has a bit of a fucked up story, which is really the only way to put it. I'm literally just not even going to talk about it. He's probably the most controversial character in the series, and if I went into detail here, YouTube would just nuke my channel immediately. If you're interested, just go look it up. Regardless, Leonard was gone while his brothers were murdered. He feels personally responsible and decides to take his own life, but he doesn't. A fairy comes along and begins jeering at him and making fun of him. He makes a pact with the fairy and loses his sight in the process. Since Leonard has a pact now, we begin to hear his voice. We find him among the forest, and he tells us that he knows that the goddess is in danger. He decides to join our party and come with us, but he still cannot forgive himself for the things that he's done. We gain Leonard as an ally here. Allies are characters that we can equip and use on ground missions. 3 times per mission, we can press circle to summon an ally for a short period of time. They have their own weapons, abilities, and skill sets. We finally head to the desert to seek out Inuart
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
and Furii, as well as find Verdele. Furii tells us that Inuart and Verdele were taken in the process of protecting her. We eventually find the dungeon that Verdele is being held at, but Inuart was taken elsewhere. We rescue him, and he tells us that the Empire is trying to reconstruct the world. When the seals are broken, the seeds of resurrection will appear. The Empire wants these seeds to restart the world itself. As each seal breaks, Furii grows weaker and her burden is heavier. We see Inuart in his prison. He begs for strength, but a voice of the cult of the Watchers begins to speak to his inner desires. This is where the aesthetic choices and design really begin to shine in Drakengard.
My betrothed, she shall love only me.
Please stop.
All mine, Freya, all mine, all mine, all mine. No man can have her. No man, not even kind.
The game
So
will
it's
shift
kind of the
greatly
same
over the
story.
course of our adventure. Towards the end of the game,
The
is
guy
when
trying to get his
things really
sister,
start to get
somebody
interesting, not
obsessed
only in
with
the
her for
story, but
some
also in
reason.
the environments, characters,
Yeah.
world, and lore. The piece really is crafted masterfully, and nothing is accidental here. The voice speaking to Inuart tells him that the burden will kill Firiai. Inuart sees a way to help Firiai, but the only way he could get the strength to do so is to make a pact with a dragon. Inuart then opens his eyes to reveal they've changed to red, signifying that he's been taken over by some dark presence. We have to go protect the desert seal, as the Empire has already begun to target it. We defeat much of the Imperial armies, but wraiths begin to attack us. These are supposed to only target us if we move quickly, but they're really pretty weak, so we can just take them down. We take out the Imperial commanders and try to hold back the Empire's forces from the seal. Bertollet is shocked by the sacrilege that he witnesses, but their efforts are futile. The desert seal is destroyed. While they guarded the sacred symbols, they found Inuart's harp in the sand. Kayam and Verle return to Firiai to tell her what happened. The group has begun to hear a strange voice, and it seems their only lead at this point. The voice is coming from an Imperial jail. We then see the prison. Two guards talk about a mad woman that's being kept there. She's laughing, and the only thing we learn about her is that her whole family died. Just then, the Union begins to attack. This woman's name is Ariosh. She is an elf woman whose family was slaughtered, leaving her mad. She then began killing masses of children to try and save them. She was then jailed for her crimes and created a pact with two elementals, Udine and Salamander. Ariosh, like Leonard, is another ally to us. At this point, our dragon levels up, giving us more power and more lock-on targets in battle, as well as another magic bar. We then see another shows up. He's made a pact with a black dragon. He tells Firiai to come with him. He tells Kayam that he traded his songs for strength. He can no longer play music. The thing that made Inuart himself is gone. Kayam doesn't let him take her. This is a massive betrayal to him. His greatest ally and friend has now sided with the same beast that killed his parents. The two dragons begin to battle, and the red dragon is losing. Kayam rushes to save her, but is blasted with flame. His dragon steps in front of the fireball. Inuart attacks Vertolais and takes Firiai. The harp has been cast down. Inuart is gone, and something else has taken his place. Kayam is frustrated. He feels betrayed, alone, and defeated. Vertolais says that anger filled him when Inuart attacked. He feels that he has lost his soul in this, his priesthood. The group heads towards the castle to try and rescue Firiai from Inuart. On the way, we meet Sire, a young child that's made a pact with a golem. This is our final ally of the game. Sire is a twin, with his sister being Mana. He was attacked and his mother was killed by the Empire. This led him to
Twins,
making the pact
golems.
with Gollum. Now, each character has their own little side path that we'll talk about during the endings section of the story. These are extra chapters that build up the characters further and let us into their
It definitely has a
backstory, as
signature.
well as provide vital plot information. Sire does join us to try and find his sister Mana, who was abandoned by their mother after being neglected. As the group battles the Empire forces, they hear the death rattle of the fairies. This means that the third seal has been broken. The only seal left is the goddess. Kayam now has to head to the Empire's lands to find the
Maybe if you wanna
fortress
go to bed,
that
we can go to
Firiai
bed.
is being held at. When we arrive, the Empire and the Union have amassed all of their forces for one final battle. The Empire has revealed a new creation, though, the Cyclops, massive war monsters created in their factories. I love the design on the Cyclops. It's the first introduction of something truly massive and warped in the game. It's not a natural beast, but it is a representation of how far the Empire has gone. Even the Red Dragon questions whether this could have been made by man. We defeat a few of these, and Kayam begins to assist in the final battle. As we take out all of the important soldiers, the day is won. The Union is victorious. Just then, the sky is darkened and magical bombs are let loose by the Empire, destroying the rest of the Union soldiers. The environment around us has been turned into a wasteland. Verdele thinks that Furii must have been killed. The last seal must have been broken. We have to head to the Empire's flying fortress in the sky. Before we do that, the Empire's soldiers begin to rise from the dead. As we head towards the fortress, we begin to fight pure manifestations of evil, warped and twisted creatures coming from all sides. We then see Furii being held in the fortress. She is with the voice that we heard before, controlling Inuart, and Inuart himself. We then have to fight Inuart, our first large boss fight of the game. Here, Inuart is on his black dragon, and he's actually pretty hard to hit. Most attacks he will either dodge or counter. His attacks aren't very hard to avoid, though, but we have to shoot at him when he's vulnerable. When he's already doing an attack is normally when he'll get hit. He flees the battle before we can defeat him. We head to the fortress and have to make our way inside. Once we do, we have 20 minutes to find Furii. When we make it in, we find the High Priestess of the Watchers. This is
Oh,
Mana,
there's a lot of bad guys in
Sire's
that
younger
mini-map.
twin sister.
Oh my
In
god.
addition
So
to that,
many bad
Furii has
guys.
already been killed.
And so that he's so
The
bad at
final
this and his
seal has
weapons
broken.
are so low
As
level
Inuart
is because he's
sees her,
skipping through the
influence on him
levels.
is broken. Inuart begins to despair and decide whether this
He's
was
just trying to
all his
play the
fault or not,
story.
as he
And
cries
so he's
out
bad
as
at the
Mana
game
dances
and he's going to
around
say it's the
in tragic
game's
scene.
fault. I hate that. You see it happen in reviews all the time. These college kids give themselves the assignment of playing a 100-hour game, and then they realize 15 hours in that that's a lot of work. He realized it an hour in.
The Watchers left.
Inuart takes Furii into the sky, her lifeless body on top of his dragon. He gave up everything to save her, and he still couldn't do it. But Inuart hopes for a miracle. He needs to bring her back to life. The seeds of resurrection are now here, now that all the
Shoeless
seals have been
kiss?
broken. Inuart is trying to find one of these
Shoeless
seeds,
kiss?
but
She's
only
not gonna
one
come
will
back to life
come
from it.
that. We battle Inuart
Not
again
that.
and stop him from doing this. We head to the Imperial City, which has now been bathed in red. Hell has arrived in Midgard. We have to fight the Worm, which is a member of an ancient race of dragons. These are vilified as myths, and the red dragon quakes at the mere sight of one. They are not meant to be attacked. We have to battle the Worm. We attack it and its minions until it balls up and we can't do damage. We repeat the process until he's dead. With this, the dragon thanks Khaim, and she begins to feel a kinship towards him, never having felt anything for humans before. We battle more hellish beasts above and inside the city itself. Once we get to the temple, Mana awaits. These last missions are particularly rough, especially the temple mission. We have to fight so many enemies here. They just keep coming over and over, and most of them are repeats. It's just jacked up the level of foes to inflate the challenge of the mission, but it really just makes it tedious. Khaim is going to kill
It
Mana.
only
to
makes
get
it
his revenge,
tedious if your
but
weapon
Verdele
sucks.
stops him. He tells him that
You're
killing a child
tedious,
is too
dude.
You're
great an evil
tedious.
for his soul to bear. He steps forward to seal the evil within Mana. Verdele casts the seal, but it doesn't work. It only makes Mana grow even stronger. At this point, if you can't see the Evangelion influence, I don't even know what to tell you. We have to defeat Mana, only attacking her when she is vulnerable. After this, Mana still is being controlled slightly by the Watchers, but she's lucid enough to beg for death. Khaim refuses this, though. The group has to decide who the next seal will be so that the world can be safe from the Watchers once more. The Red Dragon offers to be the next seal. This clearly shows the dragon's change over the course of the story. She started out hating humans and everything they represent, but her pact with Khaim has changed her, and she now offers her life to protect humanity. The seal is a painful process, and Khaim sheds tears as his companion writhes on the ground. The dragon decides at the end of her life she will finally tell Khaim her name.
I have never seen you weep before. There is but one thing I wish for you to remember. Angelus. My name is Angelus. You are the first and the last of your kind to know my name.
Angelus fades away into the sky as the seal is created. This is the first ending to the game, the anguish of an unsmiling watcher, or ending A. This is what's considered to be the main story of the game, or at least your first route through the story. I really enjoy this one, and it does a lot to develop characters, but there are still 4 more endings we need to talk about. The second ending that we can achieve is ending B. In Drakengard, the story is laid out in chapters and verses. Verses are generally either missions, events, or just cutscenes that we experience as we play through the tale. Some of these verses will require us to come back to them later, hiding parts of the story until we've finished others. Some of these will also be locked based on how fast we completed certain missions. The route for ending B sees Inuart taking Furiai's body to the Seeds of Destruction. He successfully places her body inside and she is resurrected, but not as he thought. The seeds seem to use the individual to create a massive power that is hell-bent on taking down humanity. Furiai's boss battle is a little difficult, but nothing we can't handle. We have to attack her and avoid her volley of powerful blows. As Khaim holds Furiai in his arms, dozens of copies of the monster that Furiai became have been created by the seeds, signaling a battle that Khaim and Angelus probably cannot win. This is Flowers for the Broken Spirit, or Ending B. Ending C sees Khaim arriving before Furiai is actually killed. She reveals her true feelings about being the goddess, but due to some translation issues with the English version, the full meaning isn't explained. In the Japanese version, her true motives are fully revealed, that she has feelings for Khaim, her own brother. She then impales herself with the dagger, either out of shame or because of the burden of her duty. Again, Inuart tries to take her body to these seeds of resurrection, but fails in bringing back Furiai. He dies beside her, at least finding some sort of peace in death. Mana is then standing at the altar attempting to summon a dragon, but is killed. It's then that Angelus takes on her chaos form. She has decided to disband the pact between her and Khaim, altering their deal. We learn that dragons were created by the gods to guard the world and destroy humanity. The dragons have now begun to revolt against the Watchers, though, and Angelus can no longer be used by a human. She turns against us and we have to fight her. Now, this was easily the fight that I thought was the hardest in the game. It was somehow my favorite and my least favorite battle rolled together in one.
Yeah,
The
that's
fight
because
is
you're not
interesting
good at
because
games.
we actually have to pay attention to mechanics, dodge, and pick our strikes when we can. Angelus will throw fireballs at us, lunge at us, and rain magic down from the sky. We have to dodge all of this and use the moments when she isn't attacking to get in hits. We also can't use magic against her, which makes this more difficult. The last couple phases are the worst ones, though, where balls of energy chase us on the ground in random
is it three?
patterns, and we can never tell when
Oh,
we're
I didn't
going
even
to
realize
hit.
it was after
But I
midnight.
do really love the symbolism of the battle.
flies in my head
Angelus
was fun.
finally fulfilling the
That's right.
corruption that she spoke of
Lovely
so
baby.
much and going against humanity in full. Also, since the pact is broken, we finally hear Khaim speak again.
I did every
regaining
bit of
himself
this. I can
once
remember
more
having done it.
before the
It's
end.
awesome. I thought it was fun.
Eventually, we
I
get
stretched
down
it
to
out.
the
I
seed
ground-
of
Three, you said?
resurrection.
I ground the hell out
But
of this.
outside, the dragons begin their uprising.
And doesn't it look
to
awesome
take
for
down
2003?
humanity
Like you'd
for
think
good.
that it wouldn't look
Khaim
good.
rushes
Yeah.
towards the light, ready to defend the world,
2003,
to
I was
use
still
his sword
playing
to save, not to kill. Even though this ending is
Sim
just
City.
as tragic as the rest, if not more so, I think it's probably one of my favorites. It just really makes sense for the whole story and wraps it up very well. This is a companion's eternal farewell, or Ending C. Ending D sees us starting from the same section. We are journeying through the fortress, attempting to find Furiai, but if we go a different way and find Mana, Siede confronts her. As Mana is killed by Gollum, the Watchers begin to descend from the skies. They float down and kill Ariosh, as well as Leonard, as he sacrifices himself trying to destroy them. The Queen Beast arrives, or the Queen of the Watchers. We have to defeat the Queen, and Verdelais comes up with a plan to save everyone. Since Sire gave up his time as a part of his pact, stopping his aging, he believes he can break his pact and freeze the queen in time. On the way to get Sire to the queen, Khaim and Angelus are killed, but Sire arrives, breaking his pact and trapping the world around him in time, saving Midgard. This is the wild dreams of a deluded child, ending D. The final end, ending E, is easily the most difficult one to get. I really shouldn't say difficult, but just time
Consuming.
Like I said before, there are 64 weapons in the game, and we have to find every single one to be able to get this ending. This requires a lot of work, a lot of venturing to hidden areas, waiting for chests to spawn, completing missions under a certain time. It's a lot. But eventually, this unlocks a final chapter. This takes place directly before Sire is sent to trap the queen. Instead of trapping the queen, the group attacks her, and a portal is opened. They all fall inside, only to be transported to modern-day Tokyo. We have an incredibly strange boss battle where we have to match the colors of rings that emanate from the queen. Square is white and triangle is black. This is incredibly difficult because if we get one wrong, we lose and have to start over, and it really goes on for quite a while. This ending was actually an homage to the end of Evangelion and was originally meant to be a joke ending. The ending was originally conceived as a singing competition against a giant version of the pop singer Ayumi Hamasaki. After the queen is killed, her body begins dissolving, introducing an unknown substance to the world. Khaim and Angelus are immediately shot out of the air and killed by Japanese fighter jets. Angelus's body is impaled on Tokyo Tower. There's a lot more to this ending that would actually create the spin-off series for Drakengard called Nier, but we'll talk about that later. The story overall for Drakengard is fantastic, and if you know me, then you know I'm a huge fan of multiple endings. It lets the players decide which one is best, which one they like the most. It also just introduces variety.
No. Let's the player decide. I hate that. I hate that interpretation. Anyway, ding dong.